To Today Sports Live on Today95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
You know, there are a few areas that define a man, like sports.
I think we can live with that.
Well, a beautiful Sunday afternoon to you. It's your premium news talk and sports radio station, Today 95.1 FM. And it's another edition of Today's Sports Live. I'm going to be leading proceedings here today again. Albeit that I have lots of guys who will be talking. Lots going on in the world of sport. Amidst the other parts of the world and the other sectors where different things too are ongoing. The sporting world is not also dry of drama. And, we had yesterday we had Premier League games, and also we had the tennis Paris Masters, where Rafael Nadal once again was caught napping. I could not hold his own to win. He's never tasted a Paris Masters title. I had to fall again, this time to Alex Zverev. But the National Sports Festival, Nigeria and the sports minister in particular have been trying their best to make sure it holds this year. Well, a tentative date or a recommended date for the event has been placed for December 3rd to 18th in Asaba, Delta State. What are your thoughts on that one? Is it possible that they will be able to do it this year? Would that be feasible at this point, knowing the fact that even the Sierra Leone game is going to be behind closed doors because of the fear of another wave of COVID-19, that's coronavirus pandemic here in Nigeria? December 3rd to 18th is the recommended date, and we'll talk about that. Is it still, do we have the capacity, like I would always ask, to execute these things? Do we even need the National Sports Festival to happen this year? Is it not mostly important for it to happen this year? Is a big question. Also, boxing. I would also talk about boxing. Deontay Wilder did come out last week to run his mouth. He was saying, oh, this is the reason. Oh, I think they put iron in my gloves. Oh, I think the angels were working against me. That's against him. Because the angels are actually working for me. Against him. So, and he was beating. And I'm not the only one going to do justice to all the stories, but we're going to talk about boxing really. And Luis Ortiz, the King Kong, is back. And he's back with a bang. 45 seconds it took him to knock out his opponent. He's looking forward to Tyson Fury. Is that too much to think or too high to climb? Nick Kyrgios is a man who comes with the trouble and his own baggage of issues. The 25-year-old says he was lonely and in a dark place after he suffered depression. And the big question I'm asking today is, if you ever knew anything about Nick Kyrgios, has he ever been mentally fit? Does he look like a man who is mentally stable? Because he says he was depressed for a very long time. All right, football, as I said, is on. Bayern Munich beat Borussia Dortmund yesterday. 3-2. That one ended. And of course, in France, PSG without Kylian Mbappe and Neymar, they got the results too. While in England tonight, we have Manchester City coming up against Liverpool. Sunday, Okwilebe joins us in the building. Sunday, welcome.
Thank you, Wisdom.
Did I get it this time?
Yeah, you got it perfectly.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Wisdom. Good afternoon, Nathaniel. Good afternoon, Port Harcourt and beyond. It's another great day, to talk sports. We are really excited to be here. I saw the fight between King Kong and Alexander Flores just now, and I think it was a waste of money for anybody that have gone into the stadium to see that one. But it's a great win for Ortiz, and I'm really excited to be here today.
All right, and of course I won't say the man who can never know. That's what I wanted to say, but Nathaniel joins us here. Nathaniel Igere joins us here in the building. Nathaniel, I hope I don't also murder your name.
No.
Okay.
You got it right.
Nathaniel, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Wisdom. Good afternoon to the guys in the building. Good afternoon, sports fans. And it's been a beautiful week of sporting activities, I tell you, with a lot of the African guys doing a lot of great things out there in the world of football throughout the weeks. We saw even Dembaba did it during the Manchester United clash during the Champions League. Even yesterday, Ebrechieze got his first goal for the Premier League. You know, it's it's a nice one for them. It's great to be here, Wisdom.
All right, I'll come to the highlights of the week. So maybe just keep that at the back of your mind. What was the biggest point for you this week and the outgoing week? Chidubem Joseph Njoku, the CJ and the Chief Justice of Sports, joins us here in the building. Chidubem, welcome. Happy Sunday.
Yeah, happy Sunday, Wisdom. Yesterday I was here and I was asked what I thought about the game, the Klassiker between Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich. And I did say that Bayern Munich were going to win that game by 3-2, and that Erling Braut Haaland was going to score. And guess what happened? Everything worked according to script. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Give it up.
The new prophet. The new prophet of sports. but just a little story. When I came in here this afternoon, I usually walk into my colleagues. Well, I met a rather beautiful lady just where we were usually seated waiting for the show to begin. And guess what? Well, she was the wife, or she is now, not well, she's the wife of one of us here, Nathaniel Igere. My brother, you're a lucky man. If not, say you don't marry. Let me just end it there.
I have to go root out my granite because of that one.
Oh, you're a lucky man. She's a beautiful woman, by the way. Nathaniel Igere's wife. You need to see her, but unfortunately, you can't do that. But it's good to be here at Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Let's have some fun while we talk sports. It's a beautiful afternoon to talk sports. Very hot, but we're here to cool the temper with very juicy stories.
All right. I know what it means to be on the hot side, really. But sports is always fun, anyway. But yes, just as he said, Nathaniel is taking and a very, very beautiful wife. Image of God. I'm not advertising you, but I'm just saying, just use your head. I didn't say
you know what they say when you're pointing a finger at somebody, they are pointing back at you.
No, I'm talking to image of God. See, I'm a referee. The referee doesn't play the game. The referee decides how things are,
See, the thing is, something funny really happened today. When I walked into the building today, I saw Nathaniel and the lady, and he didn't do any introduction to me. But when Chidubem came in, he actually told Chidubem, "This is my wife." And I'm sure he did that with you too.
No, me. I stood up. I follow them. Him and Osas.
Okay.
I really, really enjoy what they have done so far. So when I saw her, I just knew who she was, and I went to hug her. Ask him if I'm lying. He didn't introduce anybody because I already knew her face.
I'm feeling bad, right?
No. It was very intentional because I didn't. And she didn't do introduction.
I hope we are not noticing anything in your head.
I didn't even know the I didn't even know what to get.
No, take your guns to some
Anyway, let's come back now and we had sports field week now, but football would definitely look like it stole hogged the headlines really. But I'll start with you, Image of God. What was the high point for you? We had the Champions League this week. We've had some Premier League games. On Sunday we had what was that the biggest clash on Sunday?
The Man U Arsenal.
Man U Arsenal was on Sunday, and all that stuff. In the other parts of the world, we got Deontay Wilder saying one thing, Eddie Hearn saying another, Anthony Joshua, Luis Ortiz up against Alexander Flores. The national sports set of people now coming out to say, okay, the new National Sports Festival, the date would be recommended date will be December 3rd to 8th. We also had tennis. Rafael Nadal trying his best to see if he can get an ATP title. And that's his first Paris Masters, but didn't actually work out. Zverev pushing him out. But, I mean, let me not be the one to choose for you.
Well, two events actually stood out for me this week, and those events would be Dembaba, doing it against Manchester United. That particular type of goal he scored against Manchester, he did it against Liverpool when they were on their way to winning when they wanted to win the league back in 2014. And that goal kind of dashed the hope of the Liverpool fans. And then on Tuesday, he found a way to, relieve that moment again by scoring that's almost similar type of goal now against Manchester United. I mean, a 35-year-old Dembaba running from halfway line down to the Chelsea 18 and then slotting it in. And then the other one was the Wada case against Saku.
Mamadou Saku.
Yeah, it's very strange for me because I took my time to actually go through the story.
It was painful.
It was really painful.
It's like that's what you can even say that or you could possibly say that affected.
It ruined his career.
His
price
on the market because Liverpool, every other person just found a way to discard the man.
He was actually in the French national team at that point. And then after then, he wasn't called up to this moment. So I think that kind of changed his footballing career. So I think that story stood out for me this week. And then the Dembaba.
We'll spend some time talking about that now. But let me come to you, Nathaniel.
Also that for me, that should be yesterday match against Everton and versus Manchester United. It's been long. Manchester United, clean sheet 3 points there at the Everton Stadium, and these guys, they've been under pressure. Most especially Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been under pressure, and what a beautiful way to show the critics to know that yes, he's still in charge of the club, and great one. The boys fight for him. They fought for him, and they eventually came out with a good result, 3-1. And it's a very nice one. That stood out for me throughout.
Okay, and to you, Chidube.
I will go with the Solskjaer's moment, winning yesterday, because I felt his job was going to be on the line yesterday, and somehow he managed to get that victory against Everton. And a moment that stood out, or maybe not a moment, a highlight of the week has to be Mikel Arteta's winter jacket in the Europa League game between Arsenal and Molde. That jacket was just so nice. I couldn't get my eyes off the jacket. By the way, it was so beautiful.
So you leave match the word jacket.
Yeah, the jacket was so nice. I tweeted that I needed that jacket as a Christmas gift. If I could get that, if I can get that, I think my Christmas is made already. But it was a beautiful jacket.
I talked about Osas and Nathaniel being the married dudes, and I was trying to see how I can help this but I know they already have thousands. That's why you put it up. A man who puts up and says this is what I need for Christmas tells you how many people are applying. I did not say anything. I'll just leave it at that. But for you to comfortably put it out that this is what I need, it means that people are willing to send. Anyway, the classical gentleman, Reliable Reliance, joins us. Reliance, welcome.
All of them are with you, and they shame.
No, wait. Reliance. You're just coming in. Wait now. You're just coming in, and I've been trying. We were talking like civilized men, So
you're trying to say that I'm not speaking
no.
like a
I
civilized
did
man.
not say so. And we had a referee who was me. And I've advised Image of God. I've advised you. You're the next person for me to advise.
Who appointed you the referee? Which referee association are you working with?
Have you seen the thing that we saw?
I don't need to see what you guys saw. Well, I have a picture. I have a picture about what you guys saw. In fact, to be honest, technically, you guys didn't see a thing. You saw a human. I was the first person.
I just said that.
Okay, fine. I should say I am the first person to have seen the human being that you guys saw that blew you all away.
Okay.
And now you guys are here.
So allow us to have a nice
analyzing somebody's wife. Una know the issue.
No, don't say that.
Una did here. They analyze person's wife.
No go marry more. Analyze your own. They talk.
Nathaniel, my brother, you are a great man. Don't mind them.
Relax.
Give them something to talk about. In a sports show.
We are advising you, Reliance. We are advising you. All those posts is becoming too much. Settle down.
Which post?
All those posts.
Oh my God.
But go ahead, Reliance. We're talking about your high points for the or in the course of this past week now?
Well, I think primarily it will have to be Istanbul Başakşehir against Manchester United in the UEFA Champions League. That should stand out. And, Dembaba scoring the goal. And, of course, the Turkish side have some old players. I mean, what you could qualify as old players. But each time I look at that Istanbul Başakşehir's team, it reminds me of Queen's Park Rangers at some point in the Premier League, where they acquired the likes of Busingwa, when Chelsea had to let him go, and some other old players like that. But they were able to use those guys to get the result against Manchester United. And maybe Manchester United also had a way to come back, although from where I sit and from my viewpoint, not really a way to announce themselves that they are back. Because, consistency and Manchester United are two words that are parallel these days, so they can't really say they are back, but at least to dim the firelight of complaints and worries for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a little bit when they defeated Everton, high-flying Everton before now. So basically, Manchester United getting a knock in the UEFA Champions League will be it, because they started as a house on fire, as a team that is not going to drop any points in the UEFA Champions League. It was looking like the Champions League was going to be the point of reckoning for Manchester United, but it took an Istanbul Başakşehir that ordinarily one will underrate and believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with the way he defeated PSG should be able to do it. So that basically stood out for me.
All right. Before we go into the matters on the table this afternoon, the text message portal is 07019339 I'll take it again, 07019339 You can send in your text messages even as the discussions continue, so we'll get to just read it. And as you just get your thoughts on any of our discussions, don't forget we have 4 analysts here in the building. I make them 5, but I'm not analyzing. You're number 5, and you have a right to air your opinions and your thoughts. You can use the text message portal even as the discussions continue, because we are touching different sports this afternoon. Once we get here, you feel you have something to contribute, send it to our text message portal. Alternatively, join us on Twitter at TodayFM951. That is at TodayFM951. I'm here. My handle is at wisdom_OB. That is wisdom_OB. You can also copy me in that tweet. Reliance is here. His handle is at reliable_rely. That is at reliable_rely. Also copy him, and we'll get to read your tweets real time here on the show. All right, this one broke out on Friday. The Edo 2020 National Sports Festival has been given a boost after the National Council on Sports on Friday in Sabah, the Delta State capital, recommended that the event could take place between December 3rd and 18th. The NCS, which comprises the Sports Minister, Sunday Dare, who is the chairman, and all commissioners of sports, or their equivalent from the 36 states of the Federation, and the Secretary in charge of sports in the Federal Capital Territory, recommended December 3rd, 2020 for the opening ceremony of the festival, with the closing ceremony on Friday, December 18th. The festival, which was earlier scheduled for March 22nd to April 1st, was postponed indefinitely due to COVID-19. According to the communique issued at the end of the council meeting and made available to Punch, the virtual meeting held earlier this year unanimously agreed to host the festival this year. The committee of experts set up during the virtual meeting made specific recommendations regarding the successful organization of the 20th National Sports Festival. It has become imperative to tinker with the modus operandi of the festival. All this long grammar is that we have recommended December 3rd for the opening ceremony of the festival, and December 18th for the closing ceremony of the National Sports Festival. That day is also a Friday. Relax, I start with you. We've had debates, even here, about the National Sports Festival going on this year. And some have said, they should forget it. They should just leave it till next year. Others have said, it's not feasible. Some others have said, come on, why? It can be done. And well, it's just a matter of them deciding to do it. While also some few have also said we don't have the capacity to meet up all the requirements except it's going to be closed door games. But I don't know. December 3rd to 18th, perfect date for the National Sports Festival?
Well, no date at this point for any sporting event will be perfect, understanding that we've had a year that has been ravaged by COVID-19, and for that reason, so many postponements, so many modifications and changes to a lot of sporting events globally. So it basically means that no date will be perfect. So if they are looking at December 3rd to December 18th, well, I'm sure they must have considered all modalities and modalities going forward, because I am one of those who believe that we don't have to do too much preparation for the National Sports Festival anymore, because if you remember vividly well, it was just a week before the commencement of the sports festival that it was postponed due to COVID. We've all made preparations in order to go over to Benin, cover the event, for the media guys as well as the athletes, but just within a week it was postponed due to COVID in Nigeria. So that tells you that the preparations were all on ground. Things were ready there. Finances may have been released at that time. So we don't need too much preparations anymore. So at this point, December 3rd to 18th, end of the year, there's nothing we can do about it. But let's put one thing clear, wisdom. These recommendations is just a recommendation, as it is being called. It's subject to the buy-in of the Presidential Task Force for COVID-19 and maybe final approval by the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, which is President Muhammadu Buhari. Of course, you want to mention that it is the Sport Ministry at this point that will represent the President. So it is the Sport Council that makes the recommendation. The PTF will look at it, Sport Ministry will look at it, and then if they deem it okay to give the approval, then they will give the approval, which certainly will come with conditions, either to limit number of persons that will be attending. Other conditions must follow the testing of COVID-19 protocols now, testing of athletes and all that, and then also try to control the crowd and all that. So we wait if it will be recommended. If it will be approved by the PTF, if the Sport Ministry themselves will, because the Sport Ministry themselves at this point cannot make any decision on their own with regards to any gathering that will require a crowd in the country. They will need to submit them to the PTF. The PTF will have the final say. The PTF in this case represents the President, so they will have the final say. Will it be okay to go ahead? What are the logistics now in terms? When I say logistics, I'm not talking about the event itself. I'm talking about COVID-19 protocols, COVID-19 logistics put in place by the Edo State government to, host the event. We talked about the AFCON qualifier between Nigeria and Sierra Leone here yesterday, where the Edo State government proposed to host 5,000 to 7,000 fans. And before now, Sport Ministry said, nah, you can't host any fans. It has to be behind closed doors where no kind of any audience is allowed. And even as we speak, where it's yet unclear if they are going to allow media to go to the event. So it's just going to be an entirely closed door thing, because as we speak, the NFF Communication Department is yet to release any statement to that effect. So they wouldn't allow that, not until CAF eventually made it an African thing that all the African qualifiers will be played behind closed doors. So if the district government had proposed to host 5,000 to 7,000 fans at the Samuel Obomodia Stadium and the Sport Ministry denied, we exactly would not know what they will recommend in terms of the hosting of the National Sports Festival. So we keep our fingers crossed and wait for the final approval. If approved, then I'm sure we'll have it. But if not approved, we'll be looking at next year.
Image of God. It's one thing to recommend. It's another thing to be ready. Are we ready to host National Sports Festival? Now, when I say ready, I'm not talking about just the facilities and what have you. I'm talking about taking care of athletes, talking about the state of the I want to say the state of the state. How the state is at the moment. And of course, the fact that the whole of Nigeria will be traveling down to Edo State. Do you think we're ready? It's your state.
Yes, it is.
You can answer me when.
I don't know about that, but I will try.
Just joking.
The last time I checked, the COVID-19 pandemic is still an issue in the country. And then, if you've been following the global activities of recent, you will see that some countries have actually announced a second phase of lockdown. And this only explains that the COVID-19, the pandemic now is actually on the rise again, and then people have to be careful to make sure that they find a way to finally defeat this pandemic. But coming back to Nigeria, I was talking with somebody the other day. The reason why we have this issue in Nigeria at this moment is because when it was announced over there in China and US that the COVID-19 is, ravaging those countries, we as a country now, we did nothing, in response to that. It's very good to be proactive when it comes to issues like this. Now, the COVID-19 pandemic is on the rise again. What do we do as a country now, to make sure that we don't have a second wave in the country the way some countries are having it right now? So I think the sports festival at this moment shouldn't be the next thing to be discussed at this point in time, because I feel it is not safe. We should be concentrating on maybe shutting down the borders, travel restrictions and all that. Because if you are having a sports festival at this point in time, you have journalists from in and out of the country, and this only explains that there will be crowd, even though they've said that they will try to control the crowd as much as they can. But it still can't rule out the fact that people will want to see how
journalists, the sportsmen themselves,
exactly,
and all that,
so
the executives and organizers.
Yeah, so I feel at this point we are not ready. Just for that reason that I just mentioned, we are not ready, because we really need to do more when it comes to trying to prevent issues like this. COVID-19 is just one issue. There are other issues that need attention, but we are not giving them attention. Just because we are so careless. And at this point, I feel this COVID-19 thing should be a thing, right? There should be the main focus now, that we do not find a way to actually fall into this pit hole now that COVID-19 is digging. So I feel we are not ready, because they mentioned that the league was going to start the 15th of this month, right? But we have not heard anything as regards that. 15th of this month, just next week, right?
Anytime from.
Anytime from.
So they actually said
it was not
15.
It was not
definitive.
So it's like this now.
So yeah, exactly. That's what
something close to this.
That's
not like
it's so I feel this is also tentative. Not certain yet.
Yeah.
So,
but if you don't do it 8th to 13th, my brother, what time is running to do it?
Exactly. So I feel the best time to have this is next year, when everything is actually calm, when the country is in a state, or we are in a sober state, so to speak. So I feel right now this shouldn't be our discussion.
All right, 2:30 we'll be moving to football. A lot to talk about on that part, but I'm sure we'll have enough time for everything going on, because as we speak, West Bromwich Albion are currently up against Tottenham in the English Premier League. Is goalless in that encounter. The game is in the 32nd minute. Let me come to you, Chibim. Do we need the National Sports Festival at this time? Is it very important that we actually have the National Sports Festival? At this time, is it something we can actually maybe endure for now and push till some other time, or we actually need it currently?
Well, when we say we, there are a lot of parties to this.
The country.
First is the government. The government who will be very worried at this point, and I don't think they will need it. And why I say so is because first, it's a problem when you consider the potential second wave in Nigeria from COVID-19, and also the fact that sports is not really generating anything to the coffers of the government. It's not something that ordinarily will make them want to worry about. Look at the United Kingdom. I keep going back there for reference because It's one of the most organized sporting setups we have in the world. Also, the United States of America as well. The UK now are currently undergoing a second phase of lockdown, but the sporting sector is not affected, especially football now at the elite level, because that's where the money comes from. A lot of money comes in from there.
Unemployment too.
Exactly. So you can't afford to shut down that sector a second time, because it's going to be devastating to the economy of the country. And you look at Nigeria, it's not the same case. Sports in Nigeria is close to a liability, because it's money spent for that do not bring in anything to the coffers of the government, or very little to the coffers of the government. So I don't think the government will think twice before calling it off. I mean, look what they've done to the situation with fans at the Sam Ogbonimdia Stadium for the upcoming friendly against Sierra Leone. They've said pump and play that pop and playing that they don't want fans at the stadium, regardless of the fact that the state government is saying we can afford to have at least half the number, which is about 7,000 or so, in the stadium. You know, we can't afford to have that number, but the government is saying you can't. You understand? So it's already giving us a precedent, so to speak, so we can anticipate a possible trend that the government is also going to say, what's the point of having the national festival, you know, when we are looking forward to or expecting a second wave of COVID-19? Why not just shelve it and maybe next year or something, or cancel it outrightly? That's on the part of the government. On the part of the host, the local organizing committee, I don't think you want to put all that work down the drain at this point. Everything is set. I will say that. Everything is set for this festival to take off, to commence. And the only impediment now is the COVID-19. And I, as a local organizing committee member, if I were to be one, I'm speaking on their behalf, I'm thinking, why can't the events go on? COVID-19 restrictions, good and fine. We are going to observe the protocols. We've seen in the country other events go on, and nobody raised an eyebrow. We've seen political rallies. We've seen churches gather and still gathering. Today was one of those days where churches were packed full with members. Nobody said anything. Mosques are back in full swing. I mean, people are back in the markets and moving around. And why exactly can't this event go on? Because everything has been put in place, and we are assuring, or we now are speaking for them, they are assuring the federal government and the PTF that we can put together this event observing the protocols needed. Schools are on. I don't see any reasons why.
You mean secondary schools?
Secondary schools, yeah. Why those young kids can be in school observing these rules and everything, and adults who are expected to be in the National Sports Festival won't be able to be controlled, so to speak, when it comes to National Sports Festival. So I don't think there's any impediment from that angle stopping this from happening. But I think it's one against the other. Who is going to be able to convince the more? Who is, at this point, definitely the federal government, they have both the yam and the knife, because they are the one that will make the decision at the end of the day. They could say, well, we don't think you can go on with it. And if they make that decision, it's final. I don't think there's anything the LOC right there in Edo can be able to do about it. But it's about the sports ministry now being able to convince the PTF that they can go on with that competition, because there's a lot it brings to the table, especially in the context of what is happening right now in the country. There's a lot of division in the country as a consequence of the protest and everything. This is a fine avenue for togetherness, to preach unity, to bring the youths together, because when you talk sports, you're talking youths. The youths are crying for inclusion, to be a part of the system. They want that, oneness and all. So if you have this event put together, you're having people come from Sokoto, people come from Taraba, people come from all parts of the country, all walks of life, coming together for this tournament. I think is one way to ease the tensions, even in Edo State, where there have been a lot of chaos and prison breaks and all of that. That could be one way to stem the tide and give us everything that sports gives us when it comes to unity, oneness, peace, and everything. So I think the events can go on with. I've always maintained that it's not a matter of can it be held. It can be held. It's just a matter of right now the situations we have on ground, which is the health challenge. And I think with the events we've seen on ground currently in Nigeria, I think that events can still go on. COVID-19 has not been disastrous in Nigeria as we've seen it elsewhere. And I'm saying this not because I'm trying to downplay the gravity of the virus and the pandemic. It's something that is huge, and I don't think anybody who is serious with his life will want to take it, treat it with kid gloves. But at this point, I think with everything we've seen go on in the past few months and days, that event can be put together in 2 weeks' time. We are not talking of hosting the whole country. We're not even talking of a political rally that has 5,000 persons or even more sometimes in attendance. We are talking about an event with restricted number of persons. So I see no reason, professional athletes for that matter, I see no reason why that event cannot go on as planned.
Wisdom, I've always been one of those who try to be very pragmatic and very realistic about COVID-19, and I preach it a lot. I try to talk people into being very careful because of what it brings, the consequences of contracting the virus and all that. But to be realistic, the Nigerian government have not made it easy for those who try to educate the people, orientate them on the effect of COVID. When you try to tell people about the gravity and the sheer consequences of contracting this virus, and you're organizing a political rally, you're not making it easy. And churches are ongoing, you're not still making it easy. So what's my point? My point is Nigerians are not foolish.
Okay.
A common man in the street does not need a university degree to understand that you're supposed to keep 1 meter from the other person, and the government is preaching that. But the same government is organizing political rallies, is hosting elections. So how do you now go into the street? How do you now get to the common man and try to convince the common man that, say, this is what it is? I mean, how do you really preach the magnitude of the effect of COVID-19 to these persons when the government on their part that are supposed to be very proactive on this matter should have made it very easy for you? Then relating it to the National Sport Festival, Wisdom, life have to go on. We have to move on. COVID-19, to be realistic, is not going away anytime soon until there is a vaccine. So for that reason, life will have to move on while trying to prevent ourselves from contracting the virus as much as we can. In fact, COVID-19, I won't totally be wrong if I say COVID-19 has come to stay until there is a vaccine for it. So what do? You don't lock down people again. You don't close major things again. Yeah, I could understand that I don't know for the federal government, but trust me, for the Edo State government, they are looking at, they have should I say, a forecasted revenue on site when it comes to hosting this National Sport Festival.
Where they won't get that from?
I don't know.
When people don't go come.
I don't know.
Where do you want to get revenue from?
But they have it on site. They have it on site. If they are insisting,
that was before now.
You know, if they are insisting, then they have something on site. So generally, my point is, life will have to move on.
All right.
And you can't afford to shut down major events in the country anymore like this. See, the thing is, unless federal government decides to say no, which no one will have, I don't know, I mean, does court case apply in this case? I don't think, but which I believe nobody would have the audacity to go ahead, even when the federal government have said, nah, you can't go ahead with this, unless they say that. But apart from that, we can't keep postponing the National Sport Festival.
All right.
It's either you give the go-ahead for it to be held with the logistics and every other thing the district government have put in place to host it, or you simply cancel. Let's just know that there was no National Sport Festival.
We've gotten your points. Nathaniel, go ahead.
This year.
I just want to add to what Image of God have said, based on if they are ready to host the festival. I'm even thinking, currently, if I'm not mistaken, they are having challenge when it comes to the Nigeria versus Sierra Leone qualification for World Cup. They're having a challenge when it comes to even, for lodging places. Just for a single match, a match that will take place in a day, they are finding it very difficult to even have an accommodation for these people. How would they fare when it comes to the event proper? So for me, I don't think the Edo State, they are really ready for
there are reports that are finding it difficult to get. Okay.
Yes, to get accommodations for lodging places for the guys.
But no, I don't think that's correct. The players are going to be lodging at the Protea hotels. right there in Benin.
Yes, but they said the people that have lodged, people that have already booked, they have to beg them. They have to beg them to at least let these guys just stay for just one day.
Those are issues with logistics. It's not. I don't think it's something really major. You understand? The plans had already been on ground, and players when they come in now, perhaps you're talking about visitors, those that would like maybe journalists or something, because the players haven't
even officials.
The players haven't started coming in. The players will come in.
The camp will open tomorrow.
Exactly. They'll start coming in at least from tomorrow, and when they come in, they are expected to lodge at the protect hotels back then in Benin. So I don't think that should be much of an issue for the events to hold.
Okay, aside from that, I'm looking at England now. See, they are allowing the Premier League to continue. There's a reason for that. One, the Premier League is a business. It adds to their economy.
It brings money. It employs people.
Secondly, the second wave they're having is not as a result of the result coming in from
football.
Because there are procedures of testing there, so they are able to. So I'm talking about in Nigeria, where there is no provision for players testing or people that are coming in, like, because I'm aware that there's no form of provision for players testing or whatever.
That's not correct. I'm thinking that's not correct. Players are not going to come. No, we owe the public right information, and I don't think it makes any sense really that an event of that magnitude is going to be held, and there will be no procedure. There will be no procedure for testing. When the Super Eagles are going to play their match here against Sierra Leone, definitely players will be tested.
No, I'm talking about the sports festival now.
Give them the go ahead. Give them the. I'm not giving them the go ahead for a start.
This is another point now.
Chidi, let me finish.
This is another point. So, the National Sports Festival, if we are going to have, because I'm not sure I'll have time to delve into that part, but maybe you guys will just touch it quickly, very briefly. If we are going to have the National Sports Festival, I think that's where Sunday was going to. It means, let's say we have 200 contingents from River State. They will all be tested.
Yeah.
200 times 36. Is Edo State ready to test over 10,000? I'm not saying they are not. He was talking. Let him just finish.
Right? So I was here the other day, and I was here with Emeka, and I mentioned this, that the government can actually take care of the testing of the contingents from all over the state. And Emeka said, is it the government that is battling with other things now? Let me just put it that way, with other things that will not bring out money for testing for all these people, that at this point it is not feasible. So that one ended like that. So I'm feeling, see, if we have a second wave due to the fact that this national festival holds, and then there's a lot of COVID-19 infected people, I think the sports in the country will never ever remain the same.
I think it is.
And peradventure, if we have 200 athletes, just maybe an average of 200 contingents, not just athletes from each state, it means the 36, including the FCT, will bring in 7,200 athletes. I think whoever comes with them.
I think it is presumptuous for us to start jumping into conclusions that the government is not going to do that. Test the
so would they be able? Is the big question. Now, we don't know if they are going to do that or not. And we are not debating that because we are not the government.
Exactly. If you're going to get married,
the question is, would they be able to do it? If you're going to get
married today, and I sit here, I don't know Wisdom's capabilities, and I'm saying Wisdom.
No, we know the capabilities.
Not going to be able
some things are obvious.
To the bill. No. If you come out and tell me that I'm ready to get married, I've put all the modalities on ground to get married.
Why using marriage? Use another.
It's an example. And
I'm ready to buy a plane, a jet.
Hold on now.
I'm ready to buy a jet.
And I come and say, Wisdom is not ready to get married. Forget what he's telling us that he's ready.
To buy a jet.
Okay, to buy a jet.
Yes.
If you like that one, you don't go marry.
It's better.
So, you look, the government, the state government, who is wearing the shoe right now and knows where it's pinching them, are telling you that we are ready to host. We are ready to carry on with every indemnity that it comes with. We are ready for it. I don't think it's in our place to jump above ourselves or jump ahead of ourselves and presume that the government is not going to do this.
But the federal government did not tell you that they are
the
ready.
federal government are not the one hosting it. It's the Edo State
Good.
government.
The hosts are telling you that they are ready to host.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. It's only the host. No doubt, no arguments about that.
So
It's only the host that can
the federal
actually.
Government? No, it's the host. The Edo State government. They are the ones putting the bill. So if they are telling you that they are ready to do that, I don't think it's in your place or in my place to sit here and presume that they are going to fail. I think that's going to be presumptuous.
No.
We can't sit here
I
and
think
say that.
the question is simple. I mean, we're not saying that they're going to fail. And as I said,
But that's
me
what you're saying.
and you cannot answer if they have if they are going to do it or not. And they've not said,
So what
okay,
are we talking
we're going to
about?
test 10,000 athletes. What we're asking is, do you think from what you're seeing that they have the capacity to actually do it? You
government has
can.
said they have the capacity.
you're trying to
Should I
read.
doubt them?
You're trying to read. You're trying to stay here and read the pockets of the Edo State
No, it's a
government.
question. See, and now that's
See,
no.
it's
When you say
Let
they
me
do
clarify
it?
things.
It's very
Wait,
simple.
no. Let me
You know,
wait.
you're trying to
Just
read their
wait.
pockets from here.
Just wait. Let me clarify things. When you ask a question, do they have the capacity? You're to say, probably we should not sit here, like he said. I think if they do, they would be able to do it. If they don't, this is where I come from. If they do it, he has said, this is where I think. This one talked about hotel and all that. That's what we are here for. So it's not like you're trying to read their pocket. Me and you will not read their pocket from here. Do you think they have the capacity to do it? It's not a direct question of no, they don't have it. It's a question of a yes or no with your facts. Yes, I think they can do it. Like he said, the hosts have told us they can do it. This is what they've put in place. Or no, I think they cannot do it. This is why I think they cannot do it. It's over 10,000 athletes. That's it. But it's not a thing of, I'm not telling you they can do it or they cannot do it. That's not my business. I'm not in the pockets of the Edo State government.
Wisdom. To bring in the testing for COVID-19, to bring in the argument if it can be done, I think it's reasonable because before now there was no preparation whatsoever for testing for medicals for any athletes and all that. We just had every other thing in place, and then under a week, they had to postpone it for COVID. So right now the only extra budget that will have to be provided will be for testing athletes, maybe journalists, as the case may be. But now here's the thing: this thing can be sorted out. We are going to have athletes come from different parts of Nigeria, sponsored by state government. Akwa Ibom State will provide their athletes and they will sponsor them. Rivers State, same, Lagos, and every other state. The federal government on themselves, who are, should I say, of course, the National Sport Festival pictures the federal government, but hosted by a particular state. So it is their image that is being pictured by the sport festival. So they are also a party to it. Then the host themselves, they are also a party to it. So how many parties are we talking about? 3 parties in this case. Respective state government, the host, and also the federal government. Now tell me that they cannot collaborate, they cannot work together and provide testing procedures for the athletes.
All right.
So this thing is something that can be done. And I want to believe that before the Edo State government insists that we can have this festival, they've already considered, of course, they are not blind to what is happening globally.
All right.
So they've already considered the cost it would take to provide testing procedures for the athletes, to provide measures and logistics for that.
All right.
So it's something that can easily be done. But just to chip in a little bit on the accommodations, school is yet to resume. Before now, the preparations that we made for accommodating athletes at the sports festival was to use as hostels of the university over there. I think University of Benin over there. And the preparation as at that time was they were going to have this. In fact, I think they were already rushing the students to wrap up that session as at that time, so that those places can be made vacant for athletes to be hosted or to be accommodated. And right now, where ASU and federal government are still in a heat argument as per the demands of ASU and all that, and university students are used to go back to school, it means that place is entirely vacant. So accommodation is not even a problem. It's not even a problem. The only problem for hosting the National Sports Festival right now is testing for COVID-19.
All right. Let's move on and talk tennis. I mean, in the coming days, some things are going to be clearer. States coming together, states, federal government, and the states hosting to test and what have you. Or would they even not test at all? I've seen stranger things happen in this country, so I won't be surprised, really. or maybe would they leave everything for Edo State to test the athletes? If let's say we have a total of 10,000 people who will be coming in, I'm sure it won't be open to fans. Who would actually foot the bill? Would it be the federal government, the Edo State government, or maybe the three of them collaborating together? Time will tell. Let's talk tennis. Meanwhile, you can send in your thoughts. The number is 0701933962. On Twitter, we are TodayFM951. TodayFM951. My handle is at wisdom_OB. Reliable Reliance is here. His handle is at Reliable Rely. Australia's Nick Rios says he was in a lonely, dark place after suffering with depression while on tour. The 25-year-old has not played since February after limiting his travel because of the coronavirus pandemic. Kyrgios, who began to see a psychologist in 2018, said people were not aware how lonely tennis could be. I felt like no one wanted to know me as a person. They just wanted to get a hold of me as a tennis player and use me, he told Sydney's Sunday Telegraph. Kyrgios described an incident in Shanghai where he didn't want to see the light of day. A lot of people were putting pressure on me, and I put a lot of pressure on myself, he said. I just lost joy for the game, and I was spiraling out of control. I'll start with you, Nathaniel. You know Nick Rios. He says he suffered depression for some time, and he was in a lonely and dark place, now in quotes. But you know this man, I know they don't use looks to judge things, but has he ever looked like a man who is mentally stable?
Very funny. Well, for me, I don't really think so, because looking at his history right from the one, there has been, from one incident to another, like you rightly said, the one you just quoted now, the one he did at Shanghai against, Misha Zverev, something like that, giving a slim lose to that game after a very beautiful performance in the first quarter, asking the umpire to, please, can you just call the time? Let me go to my house. I don't really, that guy, for me, he hasn't been mentally stable. From one to another, at the point, he even accused what's that guy named Waranka or something like that. Wawrinka. Accusing him of having a sexual issue with one or two persons, something like that. He has been from one issue to another. For me, I don't think he has been mentally stable. Even so, at a point in time, I even asked myself, what is going on? Why can't they just even, don't even give him a space to even come and play tennis again? Yeah, that's for me. But he has never been stable for me. He has never been mentally stable.
Chidubem, is this a point? He has started seeing a psychologist. He has been seeing a psychologist since 2018. But is this a pointer that the man needs a lot of more help now when it comes to his mindset, mentality? As Nathaniel said, if you go back in time, you can count from when he was 18, 19, 20 till now that he's 25. It has always looked like a talent that is in the mud or still with a lot of rough edges. Is this a pointer he needs more psychological help, or you think it's just a normal Kyrgios? Does not mean anything. Since he has been seeing a psychologist already, no problem. He'll be fine.
We're talking about very sensitive issues here, depression and, of course, mental well-being. And I don't think it's something that should be laughed about or something that we should just push around because he's curious. And we've seen him put up some very nasty attitudes before. It means that we should not take into consideration whatever he's saying. If depression is not something anybody wants to fall into, and that you're depressed, it doesn't mean that sometimes you still can't go on with tennis. It doesn't mean that you couldn't still win matches, win games, and even titles sometimes. He could come out. He could even smile sometimes. I mean, it's something I've faced in the past, so permit me when I speak the way I speak. It doesn't mean when you're depressed that you can't come out. The crowd can't see you as a happy man. Sometimes you just put on that cloak of, pseudo happiness, but inside you're burning. And Kyrgios is a man who's had a history of, bad events, and you can understand why he's this rash the way he is. You look at humans. I don't think there's any human who is born with a natural behavior of nastiness and hate and anger or rage. It is events happen that shape us into the humans we become, and those events have made him who he is now, and he has to seek help, which he's doing right now via a psychologist. It's going to take time. It's not something that is wiped off.
Which he was doing in 2018.
Exactly. It's not something that is going to be wiped off all in a day or in a matter of a blink of an eye. It is a consistent process of rehabilitation that will take you back to a proper mental state. And I think Kyrgios has to be given time. It's up to him to decide if he can still push on with tennis, because what he said is very important here, that he plays tennis but he doesn't feel it. You understand? And I understand where he's coming from, because like I said, I've been in that shoe before, where you're doing something, you know you can't do it, but because of certain things around you, you're not feeling it. And the frustration that comes with it, it can be massive. You know, you can end up doing things you didn't even expect to see yourself doing. And that's where I think Kyrgios finds himself at this moment. The rage is coming from a place of past events, and the heat that is boiling inside, he just has to, it just comes out. Sometimes you don't want to express it, but it comes out. You can't control it. And that's why the mental healing he's going through now is very important. I think if he gets through it properly, he's going to get back his head. I don't know if he's going to get back to playing the best of tennis, but I don't think that should be his priority right now. Because if a sick man, your priority as a sick man is to get well and not to go back to playing tennis. So if he can come back to mental wellness, you know, I think that's the biggest achievement he can do for himself right now. If while doing that you can still come back, have a resurgence in tennis and play good tennis, good and fine. But what I'm concerned about for the man Kyrgios is his mental health. I don't want anybody running about the courts in a mentally unstable a place or a depressed person. Nobody wants to be depressed, and it's a bad place to be, really.
All right, image of God. You have all these sportsmen, and just like any public job, people hardly know what you go through inside. You have to. They will tell you, is he not a professional? That's the statement we normally get. If I've heard somebody said in this studio, if I'm paid £300,000, I will play every day. Somebody in this studio. So, do you think these sportsmen probably should constitute? Maybe we should constitute a federation or association of psychologists or something like that. That'll probably go talk to them, because it apparently looks like maybe some of them are going through some things that we have no idea about, and some of them do not like all the public show, so they keep everything deep down. Is it about time that we maybe set up, maybe in quotes, maybe it's a psychological day or something like that, where they just get these pep talks and
I'll be surprised if there is nothing like that in there. I'll be really surprised, because I think there are a lot of people going through this thing, and I'll give you two examples. You know, Ashley Barty and then Josip Ilicic. 2 years ago, before Ashley Barty won the Australian Open, 2 years ago, she actually left tennis. I don't know if anybody knows it. But she left it. She said she fell out of love with tennis. She was depressed. She went into another sport. I can't remember. Cricket. She went into another sport, and then after some time, she actually went through that phase of healing. She came back into the sport. She found her mojo, and then she came back. She won a Grand Slam, which is the biggest thing in tennis. You know, some days ago, I was reading an article about depression. And in the article, they said people that are prone to depression, they always have, they're always expressive. They're always very expressive. They have burst ups almost every time. This is a defense mechanism which they themselves might not even know about. You know, they tend to make issues out of anything, but deep down, you know, depression is always it's always a thing of what happens inside you and not what you put out. Do you understand? So I feel for Kyrgios, it's there for you to see that this guy is always having bust ups with umpire. He had one with Rafael Nadal, if you can remember. He had one with Rafael Nadal. He had one with Wawrinka. So I feel the guy, he needs help, but then does he help himself? See, I've seen this guy play basketball. Before this whole thing came up, I think 2017, he played basketball, and some of his friends, because he makes video a lot. I followed him on social media, so he makes video a lot, and they said this guy loves basketball more than he loves tennis. So I'm thinking he coming out to say he's falling out of love with tennis. I don't know if this is coming from a place of because he's depressed. I'm not really sure, but depression can also cause this thing, sure. But I'm questioning the fact that he said he's falling out of love with tennis. When in 2017, a friend of his said this guy loves basketball than tennis. So that's just where I'm coming from now.
All right. Says anytime he's playing, feels they're using him. But let's talk about another man now who is not depressed. World number 2, Rafael Nadal, was beating at the semi-final stage of the Paris Masters at German Alexander Zverev advanced with a 6-4, 7-5 victory. It was a second successive win against the 20-time Grand Slam winner for world number 7, Zverev, who lost their first 5 meetings. Zverev, winner of 13 ATP events, sealed the match in 1 hour and 39 minutes. Fourth seed Zverev, who won 2 titles in as many weeks last month, faces Daniil Medvedev in today's final. Russian third seed Medvedev defeated 10th seed Milos Raonic of Canada 6-4, 7-6 in 1 hour and 37 minutes. Trailing by a set and a break, Nadal was unable to take 2 break points to level at 3-3 in the second, and Zverev soon had 3 break points, were 5-2, but the Spanish left-hander yet to win the indoor Paris event, having lost to David Nalbandian in 2007 final, won 3 successive games to take a 5-4 advantage. However, Zverev carved out a single break point opportunity in game 11 and took the chance to move ahead again before serving out for an impressive win. Reliance, it looks like it would continue eluding the man. That's the Paris Masters title. Your thoughts on another failed quest for Rafael Nadal?
Not entirely failed quest. He won his 1,000, or he joined the 1,000th rank, or 1,000th club.
Very true.
Becoming the 4th man to do that with Roger Federer at number 2. So not entirely a failed quest. I think it's one of those seasons that Rafa should be proud of himself. I mean, he did something that we've debated over a long time, although we do come to a central agreement that he eventually do it, which is equal Roger Federer's number of Grand Slam win. He did that, and then Paris Masters was supposed to do that. I think there's a record that he was supposed to equal for Novak Djokovic in terms of number of Masters win if he had won this particular one, but unfortunately it took Alexander Zverev to become an obstacle for him. So, well, it's one of those, how should I put it now? It's a Masters, yeah, but you know the brilliance of Rafael Nadal when it comes to the Grand Slam. I don't want to downplay the essence of a Masters or the pedigree of playing in a Masters. I think before the Grand Slams, you basically talk about the Masters, maybe 1,000 Masters before any other ATP tournaments. I think in that cadre, so a Masters is as much as important, but not compared to a Grand Slam. So it's one of those flashes of brilliance again from Alexander Zverev, able to do it. We've seen Alexander Tsitsipas defeat Roger Federer, I think in the Australian Open semi-finals. But you can't always beat your hand on your chest in any competition when the big boys are meeting with these small boys or the so-called next gen, and convince yourself that the next gen is going to bring in an upset. But we saw that happen for Rafael Nadal. So it's not entirely a failed season. It's just one of those, deep in form or something that happened, and then he moves on from there. It's already a shaky season in tennis. I think it was, before now, it was the worst hit when talking about COVID, because tennis was actually out for a long while. We had other sporting events return, but tennis was still there on the waiting until we started off with the Southern and Western Open, then the US Open, and then we got to the French Open. So, not taking any credit away from Rafael Nadal, but maybe little kudos to Alexander Zverev for being able to see that one through.
All right, today's final is going to be between Alex Zverev and
Daniil Medvedev.
Daniil Medvedev. Chidibem, where do you stand?
It's difficult to find a standing, really. These are two...
Grab my chair.
Medvedev and Alexander Zverev, they are basically on the same plate. Two of them, and as well, you can also add Dominic Thiem and Tsitsipas to that bracket. They look like the most consistent bunch outside of the father figures now in that sport currently. The big heads, the big trio of Nadal, Federer, and of course Djokovic. But I think it's going to be exciting, like we expect when we see any of those four I mentioned now coming up against each other. You really can't place one against the other, and I think that's how it's going to turn out. I expect a 3-setter because it should be exciting, like I'm saying, but anybody can take it. I can't stick out my head for anybody.
All right, Ronaldo goes out injured in the game between Lazio and Juventus. Juventus leading that one by a goal to nothing, but Ronaldo is out.
It's a limp. I hope he recovers on time. That game against Barcelona, he must play.
He must play the second leg.
He must play that.
He must play.
He must play that.
He must play. He must play.
People are wise.
Alex Zverev and Daniel Medvedev could be coming up against each other by 3 p.m. Nigerian time. Let's talk about boxing. Okay, I'll come back maybe before 3 to ask for the predictions of the guys. So maybe let me just do it immediately. Alex Zverev, Daniel Medvedev.
I think this one is tilting towards Daniel Medvedev.
Daniel Medvedev. Nathaniel.
Medvedev.
Zverev took out Nadal. Medvedev overcame Milos Raonic, who is playing in the doubles event now.
Yes, the Paris Master has been a very good hunting ground for Zverev, so maybe we just take the day.
Okay. All right, Luis Ortiz edges closer to a shot at Tyson Fury's WBC belt after swift victory over Alexander Flores in Los Angeles. Ortiz ends year-long absence from the ring with first-round knockout to strengthen position as number 3 in the WBC rankings. Luis King Kong Ortiz stopped Alexander Flores in just 45 seconds as the Cuban heavyweight ended a year-long absence from the ring. The world title challenger has returned following a second loss to former WBC champion Deontay Wilder, the only defeats of his career, and Ortiz made short work of Flores in Los Angeles. Ortiz landed a glancing left hand that forced Flores into reverse, and then a right hook to the body sent the Californian crumpling to the canvas. Start with you, Image of God. Ortiz is still ranked highly by the WBC, number 3. And he has come out to say he wants to fight Tyson Fury, who, of course, is the WBC heavyweight champion. Do you see him getting that big fight anytime soon?
Okay. Just a while ago, before we got into the studio, Chidubem called my attention with a phrase, "What is this?" So I quickly ran to what he was watching then, and I discovered that he was actually watching the highlights between Luis Ortiz and then Alexander Flores. So he was surprised because the match only took 30 minutes in the first round.
45 seconds.
45
seconds. Sorry, 45 seconds. So he was really surprised. And I was like, what is this? So I told him that, see, Luis Ortiz is actually... the guy is actually a good boxer, but then his opponent didn't actually come to the party. So Luis Ortiz, he's a late bloomer, so to speak, because the guy, he started boxing at the age of 30. He had his first professional bout at the age of 30. And let me make an example now. Anthony Joshua is 31, and then he's had over 20-something fights. But Luis Ortiz started his own professional career at 30. He had his first professional. So I'm saying, Luis Ortiz is 41 now, and you're asking if he's still able, if he still has what it takes to challenge our Tyson Fury for the, and I think yes, because he knows how to do it at even old age now, so to say. So I think he still has what it takes to take Tyson Fury, because I saw the fight between him and then and Deontay Wilder, and I showed Chidubem. I saw the fight. There were 7 of that first fight between Luis Ortiz and then Deontay Wilder. He could have easily taken that one because Deontay Wilder could not defend himself in that bout. And similar thing happened in the second fight. Before Deontay Wilder finally took him out, he dominated the match because he was leading in the scorecard of the judges. I can remember that very well. So
until the right hand came, yes, the almighty right hand. So I feel he still has what it takes. He's still a very good fighter. I saw the fight. He still moves very well. He punches very well, and it's one of the hardest
puncher in the division, and then we know he's from Cuba, and Cuba boxers, they are very, very good. So I feel he still has what it takes to fight Tyson Fury.
Cuba has a history, really. But let me come to you, Nathaniel.
Was that a fight to start with?
It was a fight now.
I don't know. So people actually paid money for a 45-second show out.
That's COVID-19 happened.
It's like
there
that
was nobody in the stadium.
If you go back to the days of Mike Tyson,
Like it's making me
it
want
was
to
like that.
believe
Before you sit down, the match is
It's
over.
making me want to believe that I could take out Alexander Flores.
Oh boy, we said married. Oh, we didn't talk about it. Don't like.
No, but if you could drop almost dead after 45 seconds.
Did you see Dominic
I'm
Brizzo?
beginning to weigh my right hand and think of the things I can do with it, man.
Dominic
Maybe I
Brizzo.
should start reliance here.
Okay. Yeah.
I beg
You might be the same weight class. We will now look for the weight class then.
Bros. I the look image of God. Inge Mose will pass me. Don't start out there. Don't come my side.
It's not my boss. Israel like this on ya. I mean that was the MMA.
You should be in the cruiserweight.
Go that side, I beg.
You saw what Usyk did the last time against our
All right, Nathaniel, is he the man to stop Fury? Because Deontay could not stop Fury, but can Luis Ortiz be that man?
Yeah, it's quite somehow. Though it might be the one, but I don't really think so. I don't think maybe he will stand a chance. Though,
Since he could not even face Deontay Wilder.
Yes, no, he faced Deontay Wilder. He put up a good performance against Deontay Wilder, and even for me, I do feel that he should have won that game.
If not for the right hand.
If not for the right hand, and if
what that right hand did to Dominic Brizzo. That's the only man I remember when I remember that right hand.
And to
I heard the skull. The guy went down flat.
How wish the ref is very fair to that game. Luis Ortiz would have just even that before the second match. Would have won that game. He finished Deontay Wilder to the extent that he couldn't even breathe very well. But I don't really know why the referee didn't stop the match at that point.
Because he was on his feet.
Okay. So up against Fury, you think he has a chance?
No, Fury na boss. Don't you see what Fury did to Deontay Wilder?
That's what I'm asking you.
Didn't you see? Even before Deontay Wilder is coming out to even saying that he puts maybe something in his glove.
Okay.
That's to tell you the weight of his punch. Yes, he can. Ortiz can take it, but he's quite too old for my own. Like he's 40 something.
41.
Yeah, 41 now. Will he be able to withstand those punches?
He's a late bloomer. Robert Lewandowski scoring goals as well.
No, wisdom. I think for Luis Ortiz, he's about one of the finest boxers we have in the heavyweight division right now. Apart from the popular three, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and of course Deontay Wilder. He's just behind them, and he's a very fine boxer. Started late, like we've established here, 30. But when it comes to the experience, he's got it, and he can also take a punch. We've seen it against even Wilder himself. He's a very calculative puncher, and he has a feisty punch, a strong punch as well. But I think right now we are comparing him to a Fury, who, if you look at what he has as his add-ons, as his own pros, Fury even has them better. When it comes to endurance, I don't think there's any boxer that has endurance more than Tyson Fury in the division.
I mean, if you remember what happened when he was knocked down by Deontay.
Technicality as well, he's up there, probably the best. I just think he's just behind Anthony Joshua when it comes to tactics. You look at the fact that when it comes to a heavy hand as well, Tyson Fury is also up there. So I don't think he's going to be able to stand against Tyson Fury. No disrespect to him. He's achieved so much as a boxer in the heavyweight division, especially against the big boys you have currently. But Tyson Fury is a class of his own. I think if they meet, well, I think it's extremely difficult to see right now because of the potential fight ahead of Fury, or even consider Ortiz. If they meet, it's going to be a good fight to watch because Ortiz is not Derek Chisora. He's not of that watered down quality. He's top-notch quality, and he's a Cuban, for crying out loud. He's going to give you those heavy punches, and his combination punches are quite good. I mean, you just took 45 seconds to drop the man that could beat. Let me say it that way. And you look at the fact that in the past against Deontay Wilder, 2 times, he came close to knocking the man down. In the 7th round, it just took that bit of an extra push from Wilder to keep on his feet, and the experience and the power, the grit to be able to keep on his feet. It was just a matter of 5-10 seconds of one or two more punches, and it would have been goodbye Deontay Wilder in that one. But somehow he managed to stay in that one. But it just tells you the brilliance of the man Luis Ortiz at 41. Look at the performance he put up yesterday. But against Tyson Fury, I think that's one mountain too much.
Okay, let's talk about another man now. Maybe the big three. First, Kubrat Pulev's promoter Bob Arum has claimed Anthony Joshua will lose to the Bulgarian heavyweight in their counter next month. The fight is currently set to take place at the O2 Arena on December 12th, with the British boxer defending his WBA, WBO, and IBF heavyweight belts, although the fight could be staged abroad due to the latest lockdown rules in England. Like Joshua, Pulev has only lost once in his professional boxing career, and that loss came against Vladimir Klitschko when he fought for the IBF belt back in November 2014. I think Joshua is still vulnerable. That's Bob Arum speaking now. I think Joshua is still vulnerable after being knocked out by Andy Ruiz Jr. and Pulev is really tough, rugged heavyweight. Joshua got knocked out by Andy Ruiz Jr., who is not a puncher and has never been a puncher. I know that because we promoted him for 30-odd fights. He has quick hands and not a bad heavyweight, but he devastated Joshua, knocked him out. The second fight, Ruiz Jr. celebrated too much from the first fight, and Joshua ran around the ring and Ruiz Jr. couldn't catch him. And that was the fight. Not like he did anything big. And on the other side now, Eddie Hearn is talking about Deontay Wilder. But let me just ask questions about what we just talked about now before I go to Hearn and Deontay Wilder. And I'm coming to Reliance. Pulev and Joshua, comparisons are on from Bob Arum, who says Andy Ruiz Jr. They know Andy Ruiz Jr. That's the thing, and he feels Ruiz does not or cannot measure up to Pulev. And you look at Pulev's career, only one man had taken him out in the past, and that was Vladimir Klitschko. And that was back in 2014. Experience has been gathered over this period. Do you perceive a very big problem for Anthony Joshua on December 12th?
There's always a problem each time a boxer gets into the ring to face an opponent, but how big a problem it is something to be determined. At this point, it's difficult to predict a bout against Anthony Joshua. Why do I say so? Because the bout, especially the defeat to Andy Ruiz Jr., has opened his eyes and has taught him some lessons that it's not just about getting into the ring and trying to get the business done. At times, you need to be conservative, and we saw that in the return bout on December last year, where he defeated Andy Ruiz Jr., irrespective of the fact that many wanted to see an outclass coming in from Anthony Joshua. But with the manner and method and approach that Anthony Joshua has adopted going forward for any bout, it's difficult to predict against him, because he gets into the ring and he watches you and observes what you're going to bring on, and then he decides to play defensive, so to speak. And while playing defensive, looking for a hot spot to take you out, or a hot spot to win, or just looking for those spaces that you're going to be conceding for him to exploit and then get the victory, either via a unanimous decision or from the judges' scorecard. I mean, at this point, I don't think Anthony Joshua is all out for knockouts. If it happens by a knockout, fine and good, but what rings in the man's head at this point, I want to believe, is get the victory and continue moving forward. And that's why it's difficult for the Bulgarian. It's a threat, Wisdom. You look at the man, you want to look at his history as well. The only man that has defeated him is someone that the world of boxing will never forget, Vladimir Klitschko. It's not like he was defeated by a Joseph Parker. I'm not saying that the world is going to forget Joseph Parker, but come on. You want to put Joseph Parker
What did he do?
in the same bracket with Vladimir Klitschko, you know. That wouldn't be nice at all. But the point there is, it was a classic boxer that defeated the Bulgarian Kubrat Pulev, and he should worry. He should be worried. Before there were two bouts now on the table for Anthony Joshua. You know, after the victory over Andy Ruiz Jr., there was an Alexander Usyk who is still somewhere, you know, waiting. and then a Kubrat Pulev. And critics of Anthony Joshua said that he was going to rush to pick up the Kubrat Pulev bar because they perceived that one to be easier against facing Alexander Usyk, who just stepped up the division. And I can understand where their arguments were coming from because of what Alexander Usyk did in his former division, in his former weight class before stepping up. I mean, got everything there is to win at that division. So, but I don't think it's going to be an easy bout against Kubrat Pulev. I mean, looking at the man scares you. And but it's not just about power, wisdom. I think for Kubrat Pulev, it has always been about the might and power he has, you know, to throw the punches and all that and get it done. But technically, I want to believe technically at this point, I mean, I dare say that every other boxers are playing catch up to Anthony Joshua when it comes to technicality in the ring. But when it comes to aggressiveness and every other ones, the knockouts, and I mean, you could mention other boxers, maybe Deontay Wilder, maybe what's his name now, Tyson Fury. So that is just it. But technically, I think Anthony Joshua is up there at this level, and that's one thing he will want to exploit going forward against Kubrat Pulev. So there is a problem for him against Kubrat Pulev, but it's not a problem that he's not going to overcome. And I think Anthony Joshua will see off Kubrat Pulev.
Eddie Hearn says Deontay Wilder had exposed and said that's earlier this week now that Deontay Wilder had exposed and disgraced himself after the bronze bomber mistakenly disclosed that he turned down the mouth-watering offer from Anthony Joshua's camp to face Tyson Fury. His statement obviously confirmed the fact that Eddie Hearn and Joshua were not really running from the Wilder versus Joshua fight as claimed back then.
Deontay Wilder completely lost his head. Don't know what he's doing. All very strange. Got found out about his comments about Anthony Joshua. Says that Tyson Fury and his team are cheats. Basically says the Nevada Commission are cheats. So it's a mess, total mess. What he done was he didn't think before he spoke. So all he was concerned about is Tyson Fury. And then in one tweet, he just exposed himself and his team completely. You know, I mean, they done a good job in making people think that Anthony Joshua and myself didn't want that fight. You saw in the Tyson Fury fight why we wanted that fight. So, and when he come out and said, no, I decided to fight you. I had an offer for much more money to fight Anthony Joshua, but I turned it down to fight you. You said we didn't want to fight you. Get your story straight. So, yeah, he exposed himself there. I don't know what he's doing, mate. It's a complete car crash, to be honest with you. Complete car crash.
Nathaniel, then it was all about Hen not wanting to agree. Him and Joshua running away from facing Deontay Wilder. But Wilder came out to say, I know he was talking about Fury, and that's what Hen was saying, that in the process of trying to talk about Fury, he exposed himself. He said he was telling Fury that he turned down a mouth-watering clash offer from Matchroom, as the promoters of Anthony Joshua, to actually face him. Then Wilder Hen now picked that now and said, you see, so we're not running like they said. Because then the Shelley Finkel, the promoter of Deontay Wilder, was saying that Hen and Joshua were running and trying to hold the belt for a very long time. But does this by any means tell us that Joshua is ready to take on anybody in the heavyweight division?
Oh yes, looking at Joshua's position right now, and for me, I don't really think Joshua is scared of anybody or is trying to run away from anybody. He has been able to, face all his opponents gradually from the likes of the Povet King, even up to when he picks Andy Ruiz Jr. And at a point in time, he's now looking at, fixing Kubrat Pulev in coming days now. So I don't think he's scared of anybody or trying to run. He's very ready, and he has the skill set. He has all the ability to take on anybody. And we've known Deontay Wilder for all his trash comments sometimes. Even this is the last one that he made with he said to Tyson Fury, yes, about putting a glove in his hand somehow. That just tells you that he doesn't know how to talk sometimes. But going forward, looking at Anthony Joshua right now, he's quite in good shape. He's very in good form, and he can't really, he can face anybody, anytime. Even in that boxing level right now, even Tyson Fury, If they put Tyson Fury down with Anthony Joshua, he will definitely find a way to come out. Fine, maybe if they, both of them can, win each bout, then maybe he can pull out to a trilogy bout or something like that. Definitely, he will definitely come out because he's quite talented. He's very young, has his skill set to go and try to maneuver his way. So definitely, he's not running from anybody, and he have the ability to take on anybody.
But he ran in the past. and I think it's well documented that he ran in the past.
He didn't run away.
Against Deontay Wilder.
But you're hearing Deontay. I just told you Deontay said.
Look at the statement. He
turned down a mouth-watering.
The question is when.
Mouth-watering. Okay.
When? It was after Deontay Wilder camp had offered a bout and proposed $50 million
with mouth.
And which mouth? And the statement Hen made was probably the funniest statement I've heard in boxing terms in my lifetime. Can I see the money cash?
Now. Bring
That
the money.
It's a very stupid thing to say. Can you see the money cash? Like, I'm going to bring $50 million to your house and say, take the money, I want to fight you. Didn't make any sense. It was obvious at that point that Deontay Wilder was a scare to Anthony Joshua.
Why would you good? I like this part now. Why would you sit here and say it's obvious when the people who were negotiating deal or the man who was at the head of the whatever is telling you that he turned down a mouth-watering offer from the Joshua camp?
I said the timing. This was after this incident had happened, not before. No, not during that.
After
period.
what incident?
After the Deontay Wilder camp offered $50 million. So it was now Anthony Joshua's camp and Eddie Hearn who were not offering Deontay Wilder a fight. But initially, Deontay Wilder had offered you a fight. Say, come. I want to fight you.
Maybe the offer was not too okay. But the fact that you rejected a very big offer too, it's not too good.
Because he had something bigger.
He
had a Tyson Fury fight to take on. And at that point...
Was it bigger?
Fight, no, at that point, he would fancy Tyson Fury better. Look at that.
Why? Tyson Fury held no belts.
Does it matter?
It matters.
He had a name to protect at that point. So it was down to his choice. And also, there's a moral part of it as well. Or not a moral, maybe a claim for superiority now. I offered you something and you turned it down. So why should I accept yours? Does it make sense? It doesn't. I think at that point, Deontay Wilder was very ready to take on Anthony Joshua, but he was running away.
No.
Why were you running away?
It's you who is talking about.
So now that there is another side to the argument. Let's say you offered me money at first and I rejected it, and then I came back with a good offer. And along the line,
a mouth-watering. Now you tell me mouth-watering. A mouth-watering.
And now come back with another offer. You rejected it.
To face Fury.
You rejected it. So if I would say that Anthony Joshua's camp docked Deontay Wilder, then it's also safe to say that when Deontay Wilder camp rejected the offer from Eddie Hearn, they also docked Anthony Joshua. So it's 1-1. So I basically don't see any any power play at this point or any claim of superiority. It's a matter of there was an offer earlier on $50 million here. Report has it that Eddie Hearn said, let's see the money. And now Deontay Wilder himself is confessing to the whole world that Anthony Joshua's camp actually offered him something better to what he earned fighting Tyson Fury, and he also turned down. You get the point. So
you're after you had a chance to fight. You're not bringing an offer.
It doesn't mean. Offers are offers. You offer me, I turn it down, and I also offer you, turn it down. So if you want to come with the idea of one docking the other, then we basically docked ourselves.
All right,
that's basically what it means.
That's something we feel already.
Let's get to hear from the callers. 0817 0000951 0810 951 951. That is 0817 0000951 0810 951 951. For the text message portal is 0701 9339 962. We have talked about the National Sports Festival. We have talked about what might be going on, the new proposed recommended dates. Let me use their words. December 3rd to 18th. We've talked about tennis. And of course, we've talked boxing. Today Sports Live.
Yeah, hello.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. afternoon.
Your name and where you're calling us from?
I'm coming from Port Harcourt.
Your name?
Christopher.
Let's hear you.
All right. I don't want to say something because some people are arguing that offer is different than offer. The offers are different. Offer is not the same as offer. I can offer you 50 million for a fight and you turn me down. Whereas in return, you now offer me 30 million pounds. So these are different offers now. So offers are not offers. The other person said in studio that since Anthony Joshua turned down the other person and in order to turn down his own, that is the same thing. Offers are different, but I know the wider offers was bigger than that of Anthony Joshua. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Today's Sports Live, good afternoon. Okay. For the offer, being bigger than, well, Anthony Joshua, I think, he had 3 belts at the time. Still has those 3 belts, and I think that was another argument of who should be bringing the Today's Sports Live.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Faith.
Yes, good afternoon to your colleagues in the studio.
Good afternoon, Faith.
Hope you went to church, Faith.
Yes,
Are you a Muslim?
Can't be Muslim.
Don't mind me. They both have faith in the 2 different things. I was asking, how are you?
Do you not tell me now, Pastor? Why?
I know now. In a particular church, I know.
That's how you be chasing away your customers. Don't stay there now.
I'm going to get you that winter jacket. Yeah.
Bless you.
Let me start from.
I'm here, Faith. I'm here,
Faith, go on with your thoughts.
Go on with your
bring winter jacket for she be alone.
So I want to start with the National Sports Festival. Yes, if they say they are able to start up the program by the 3rd of next month, I don't think there should be any raising of eyebrows. I was able to attend this National Sports Festival, the one they held in Port Harcourt. That was in 2011, and the one in Lagos 2012. I represented Anambra State. So what happened is that about the accommodation, we slept in Uniport. Then the one in Lagos, we slept in Yabatek. So I think some people slept in Unilag, but where we stayed was that Yabatek. Then the food, the bed, every other thing we needed, like toiletries and all, was provided by the state. Allowances by the state. Wow, how did they do this? They pay for all those stuff. Then the state, there is now left for the state to provide all those things we need. So I don't think there should be any issue. If they say the only thing the state I think they have to do is to organize and make sure that everything goes well. Even our food, they gave us something like a check, which you're supposed to use to take your breakfast, your afternoon, and your night. This thing.
So, Faith, which sports did you participate in exactly?
I participated in running.
Are you serious? Track and field, okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So there shouldn't be any. I don't think that there will be much. All these issues we are raising, there's nothing much there from the organizers to do.
All right.
The main thing is done by the state. And about materials, everybody has had it rough in life. It's just how you are able to manage it. So since his own has turned him that way, I think it is good that he's visiting a psychologist. And for Deontay Wilder, he should shut up for once now. I mean, he should shut up for once. Like, he failed. I think the best way to react to failure is to go back and work hard. Like, accept it first that you failed. So that next time when you come up, if you hate failure, you should only go back, work on it, then come back and emerge as the winner next time. I mean, all these things he's saying is only denting his name. No matter what, it will change the fact that he
was beaten.
That fight.
All right, Faith. Thank you so much, Faith. Towards the end there, you sounded like a motivational speaker. Today's Sports Live, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Albert, welcome to the show.
Good afternoon to you guys.
Yeah, good afternoon.
The truth is this, everybody would like to come out with their own story. Understand? So that issue of the issue is something that I saw, you understand. I watched that on Sky Sports when the weather came to UK with the private jet. I watched it, you understand. So after that time, there's something you said to Anthony Joshua. I came down, you guys waste my time to flew down to UK. You understand? For doing so, you're a coward. You understand? That's what that's what I said to Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, we all discussed it here in this studio.
You understand? So that's the only time I fully get angry to Anthony Joshua that what you're doing is bad. He came down here to offer you a fight, and the fight should be two-way traffic on an away basis. So once you are good enough, you can fight in any neutral venue. That is why Tasifuri, because of the mouth Tasifuri was making, and I jumped into the ring to face Donty Wilder. You understand? So Donty Wilder was confused, and I blame Donty Wilder very well, even in that first fight, for taking the second one against Tasifuri. You fought your opponent that is so credible, technicality, speed, energy, he has it more than you, and you saw what happened in the first fight. You foolishly agreed for the second one, and you know this man will single-handedly figure you out. You know, every that first fight, when he was about to take Tasifuri, I'm the only person. You know, I have arguments with Emeka every day. That there's nothing on earth Donty Wilder will beat this man, because I have watched him very well. The aspect of the technicality, speed, and energy. Because that very day, I was talking about where Donty Wilder has some weak points. He has a very poor footwork. You understand? So he's not faster like Tasifuri. So I see there's no how he's going to beat this man. And it happened the first one. And the second one, and when I came out here, I'm the only thing that predict the ranks where Donty Wilder will stop the ranks. And it happened exactly the way I told you guys. You understand? So the man, Donty Wilder caused his problem himself. You understand?
Right.
You're not supposed to agree that second one.
Right.
Just let him go. So now look at the damage you have caused upon yourself. Now everybody is trying to push you out. You are now an ordinary man now, no title for who wants to fight you again?
All right. Huh? All right, Albert, thank you so much for your contributions. Well, the phone line is still open. 0817 000095 10810951091. Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon.
Hello, Superman.
Good afternoon, Lawson.
Yes, greeting. Superman.
I greet you.
You shouldn't be staying there.
Lawson, I've asked you this question before. Why do you want to imitate Samuel? Yeah? You like calling people twice.
No, but this deal, we've clicked this deal long time after when Top Striker was there now, Superman. You are still asking, staying far from afar, asking a question. You are supposed to go there and attend the church together.
Abi? Didn't you hear that she said she's married to a pastor? Now, pastor wife, we want trouble.
No.
You want them to pray you out, Abi?
No, I think she's just playing. It's just that you are not consistent, because the other day you said you will leave football for wealth.
No. Me and wealth is a personal matter. No. We all know how much I love wealth.
The walls have ears. I'm glad Lawson is the wall here.
No, we all know how much I love wealth. Just go ahead with your contribution, Lawson.
Well, a man by nature is polygamous, so I don't know. Maybe.
Now you sabi that one.
Lawson, don't preach that theory for us. Don't preach that for
back to sports.
Lawson, go ahead with your contribution.
No, but let's agree that man by nature is...
Lawson, talk sports. Talk sports.
No, okay, all right. Superman, why is the minister bent on making sure that the sports festival takes place? Really? Why? Because I don't understand. They are warning us that Nigeria, be careful. Have you seen the figures the NCDC is turning out daily? And they are warning us that, look, there is the thing
COVID-19.
That we should be careful so that we don't go back to another lockdown. And we have seen in France, we have seen in America, we've seen in Israel, we've seen in Korea. And then why are we... See, the sports festival, the one Faith was talking about in Port Harcourt, I was there. He carried a large crowd. I don't know whether you understand what I'm saying, Superman. Sports festival gathers real crowd.
He usually does.
The kind of crowd I saw there, I tell you, I was so. If we gather that kind of crowd this time around, don't you think that this thing will spread? And then before you know, we're going to another lockdown. Is it that? Let me understand. Is it that he has spent money, some money he has used? Because I know when you want to, for instance, maybe wedding and all that, you pay for all, you pay for everything before time. And then if you cancel it, well, it's you are your own. Nobody refunds you. Is he having problem with refund, Superman?
I wouldn't know now.
I don't know. No, see, seriously, we don't need it. We don't need the sports festival. Now, what is wrong in taking it to 2021? What are we going to miss or lose if we take it to 2021? Why so bent on well, I honestly, I don't see the need. I don't see what he's hoping to achieve. And for me, I feel maybe he's asking for trouble. Lockdown is not an easy thing, though. To go back to lockdown is not an easy thing. So I don't know who is advising the minister, but the minister, yes, is good. I like some of the policies he has made and all that, but I think he's biting more than he can chew. And I don't know who he's trying to impress.
Okay.
But for me, looking at the figures, looking at the indicators, it is not advisable to host a sports festival that gathers crowd. Yeah, just say the government too is bent. I don't even know whether it is political, whether I don't know. But for me, I think that it is not necessary at all. And Dr. Wilder, he had a surgery. Is it in any position to fight?
No, he's, of course, you need to sign a deal before you can think of even fighting.
That's what I'm saying. He had the last beating. He had surgery and he's not in any position to fight even next year. So why? But for me, I don't know. Anthony Joshua, I've always made my position clear. Anthony Joshua, for me, I don't see him as a heavyweight boxer.
All right.
I have never liked him because he's been dirty. Forget whatever you guys are discussing or whatever that is being said. We know that he carefully avoided Jose Wilder. He avoided that fight.
But how can you say avoided when the man said that he rejected a mouth-watering offer from Anthony Joshua to fight Tyson Fury?
Nah, see, good. Nah,
Deontay said it too, not me.
But at the time that Jose Wilder wanted to fight Anthony Joshua, even the money was brought. Everything was Anthony Joshua was even insisting on from dollar exchange to pound. From before you know, he has to be UK and all that. He came up with a lot of excuses. You understand?
All right.
He came up with a lot. I remember even when he wanted to fight Takam.
All right, Lawson, just wrap up, Lawson.
Yeah, so for me, I don't see him as someone that wants to really challenge.
Okay.
And challenge. No, he's always avoided like Fury. I don't know whether that fight can take place because Anthony Joshua that I know will do everything to avoid that fighting. Fury and himself bound.
All right.
Avoid it.
All right, Lawson.
Mark my word.
All right, Lawson. Thank you so much for your thoughts. Well, that's where we'll maybe draw the curtain. So I'll come to the text messages in a bit, or maybe the Twitter messages. But for now, let's move on to football, where it might just be what you call a last or a fine way to end a grueling encounter. West Brom are down. Tottenham have scored, and it's Harry Kane who got the goal. The game is now in the 90th minute. Harry Kane got that goal in the 88th minute, and it's Tottenham 1, West Bromwich Albion 0. Phone line still buzzing, but would have to switch to football at the moment, and we'll be starting with the Dell Classica.
Fußballmannschaft kennt man auf der ganzen Welt. Wie heißt dieser Club, der hierzulande die Rekorde hält? Wer hat schon gewonnen, was es jemals zu gewinnen gab? Wer blickt seit Jahrzehnten unsere Bundesliga voller Trab? FC Bayern, Stern des Südens, du wirst niemals untergehen, weil wir in guten wie in schlechten Zeiten wasteful tears.
All right, it was all about Bayern Munich. They returned to the top of the Bundesliga with an exciting victory over rivals Borussia Dortmund. Marco Reus put Dortmund ahead late in the first half, but David Alaba leveled with a deflected shot after a clever free kick routine in injury time. Robert Lewandowski headed in from Lucas Hernandez's cross and set up Leroy Sané, who cut in to put them 3-1 up. Erling Haaland rounded Manuel Neuer to give Dortmund hope in the Der Klassiker, but they could not find an equalizer. All right, I'll come to the results we had yesterday in the other games in Germany. But let me hit the guys straight, starting with Image of God. How would you rate that game? Was it as exciting for you?
To be honest, I didn't see the match,
the game,
but I followed it on social media, Twitter specifically, and then it was all shades of electric for me because there were updates every second. There were updates every second as regards what was going on in the match. So I knew yesterday that I was missing a cracker because like I predicted yesterday, I said Bayern were going to win 3-1, but Erling Haaland found a way to actually score that one for me, and he got a late goal in that one that made it 3-2. So I was still right somehow because I predicted Bayern win. So but I believe they were going to win because I feel the Dortmund side were not up to the Bayern standard. The form that they are at the moment, I think they are heads and shoulders above every other person in that Bundesliga. And I think before Dortmund can, think of, because before they can start thinking of winning the league, I think they would have to, get themselves up to that standard of, matching the Bundesliga champions,
right,
with the Bayern side. So I feel Bayern they are their problem, but they are not their immediate problem. What I mean is, Dortmund have the likes of Leipzig, Hoffenheim, Mönchengladbach to still contend with. When it comes to a position where they finish in the league, because I feel at this point they cannot even compete with those guys. Not to talk of Bayern Munich. So I feel before they can start thinking of winning the league again, they have to raise themselves up to a standard where they wouldn't have problem going to Hoffenheim to pick a point or pick 3 points. They wouldn't have problem going to Mönchengladbach. Just the way Bayern Munich are doing it at this moment. They wouldn't have a problem going to Leipzig winning. So I feel they have to get to that stage before they think of upstaging this Bayern Munich side. But it was a good match yesterday, and I believed Bayern were going to take it all.
All right, a good look at or maybe a quick look at all the results we had yesterday in the Bundesliga. Augsburg were beaten by Hertha Berlin 3-0. Mainz 0-5. Plate 2 draw with Schalke for Rasenball Sport Leipzig beat Freiburg 3-0. Union Berlin beat Arminia Bielefeld 5-0. VfB Stuttgart Plate 2 draw with Eintracht Frankfurt, and Borussia Dortmund were beaten by Bayern Munich 3-2. All right, we'll be moving to France shortly. We'll be coming to England in a bit, but still on the
that game. I'm really tempted to talk about it, and that's because I saw an electric encounter yesterday, like was expected. It was the Dortmund side that were hungry for success, hungry to win, and they should have won that game yesterday. They were the more dominant side, albeit the fact that Bayern Munich, you just cannot have all those chances and not bury them when you play against the Bayern Munich side. It was a matter of sheer class in finishing from Bayern Munich as compared to a disappointing showing when it came to finishing from the Dortmund side. I saw chances where Dortmund had ample opportunities to bury that game, and unfortunately it didn't work out. Marco Reus would be at the number one culprit on the 90th yesterday. Missed the glorious chance yesterday to put his team ahead, but somehow he failed that one. Even the man on the money, Erling Haaland, also found a way to miss some chances. I thought on a good day, with a calmer head, he should have been able to bury. So I think it all brought to the fore the quality in this Bayern Munich side. And of course, Robert Lewandowski, that header just summarizes everything we say about this man. The cross on the ball didn't come with power, but somehow he managed to find a rocket header into the right bottom corner of the net. And what do you say about the substitutes that Bayern Munich possess? I mean, a team that is able to bring a player like Leroy Sané from the bench. Tolisso is also on the bench. You have Javi Martinez on the bench as well. It just tells you about the quality of the side. I think it was a matter of a difference in quality. The men who were expected to step up for Bayern stepped up, and of course for Borussia Dortmund, it was just finishing gone wrong yesterday because they did every other thing right. Their transitional play was fantastic. They played good football. Marco Reus found himself in good positions 1, 2, 3 times. Wasn't able to take much of them. Just managed to find one goal. Very fine goal, anyways. All right, sliced shot into the back of the net. But overall, I think it just shows the fact that one team is a senior brother and the other is a younger brother. Bayern Munich looks like, if you compare them to what other teams can parade now when it comes to the quality in their ranks, I think Bayern Munich looks like the best team right now in the world, and it's not so difficult to see why they rather so maybe quite easily got the Champions League for themselves last time and are even up with a smooth run again this time in the Champions League. It's a fantastic showing. What Hansi Flick has been able to do with the side, you just have to commend. Lost Thiago Alcantara, it doesn't even look like the man left the side in the first place, because they now have the Kimmich who's debutized in that role, and of course a Tolisso on the bench who can also come in and give his part, not forgetting Leon Goretzka as well. So it was a fine showing in that game. Yesterday I said it was I think it was Victor was saying it was a disappointment. It was an abomination, so to speak, to say it's a bigger game than their Clasico. But the game I saw yesterday had more quality, more feistiness that your Clasico we witnessed 2 weeks ago.
Okay, just for the last 2 weeks, it's acceptable. it happens once in a while, just like Leicester.
I had to wait for him to land, but he landed well.
It happens once in a while. But let's move on and talk about the games to expect today quickly, or maybe mention the games to expect today in the German Bundesliga. It will be Wolfsburg up against Hoffenheim by 3:30. Bayer Leverkusen will be up against Borussia Mönchengladbach by 6 p.m. Another good game also. That's if you want to measure by the standards of the German Bundesliga. We land in Paris, where Angel Di Maria scored twice and Moise Kean grabbed his 5th goal in 5 games as PSG. Paris Saint-Germain moved 5 points clear at the top of the Ligue 1 with victory over 3rd place Rennes. However, the win came at a further cost for injury-hit PSG, as Kean, defender Thilo Kehrer, and midfielder Idrissa Gueye all had to come off prematurely. Kean's low strike put PSG ahead before Di Maria clipped home the second. The Argentine winger made it 3-0 with a low deflect shot in the 75th minute. Julian Stefan's side, making their Champions League debut this season, regularly threatened the PSG area. But goalkeeper Keylor Navas was called into action only on a couple of occasions. PSG coach Thomas Tuchel will be thankful for the upcoming international break. The German was again without his 2 injured star strikers, Kylian Mbappe and Neymar, with Juan Bernat, Mauro Icardi, Presnel Kimpembe, Julian Draxler, Pablo Sarabia, and Marco Verratti all sidelined. Nathaniel, no Kylian Mbappe, no Neymar, no problems for PSG.
Anyway, it's a beautiful means to bounce back to winning ways during their encounter yesterday. These guys, they've been suffering more of injuries this period, and I'm quite really sorry for them. And even the coach, at a point in time, he had to cry out to the media that they really need players. So sudden that it couldn't happen. But anyway, it's a nice one for them, and thank God they got the Mosukane from Everton. Yes, he's still the Everton player too on loan. He has been up and doing. He has been showing his quality. Though he has did that way back time in Juventus. He was once a good player. Yeah, he played very well. He had some good record with Juventus before he went to Everton. Now he's showing that ability there. It's a nice one. It's a nice addition to the team. And hopefully maybe from there they can step up and do something nice. And thank God the international break is coming. At least that will help them to heal their wounds a little bit, so that at least some of the big guys will come back to, start again where they stopped last time. So at least they can, move ahead to take the club to another level.
What happened to Lazio Juventus? That game ended in a draw, by the way, 1-1. Lazio sharing the points with Juventus. But still on this game, let me come to you, Reliable Reliance now. Would this be a problem going forward for PSG? Looking at the Champions League, where they stand now at the moment, they are not where they probably would be. I think it's Manchester United who lead that group.
Yeah.
We have
6 points, same as RB Leipzig.
RB Leipzig, PSG are in third.
PSG in third, yeah, with 3 points.
Mm-hmm. But look at all the names I called. Injury hit Kylian Mbappe and Neymar. Why Bernat, Icardi, Presnel Kimpembe, Julian Draxler, Pablo Sarabia, Marco Verratti all sidelined. It is going to be a disastrous season for PSG, especially in the Champions League.
The Champions League, yes. I described the group that PSG found themselves earlier on as the group of death. So it requires their class, requires every player to come to the party for PSG to be able to topple the group, or maybe even make it out of the group, probably as a second best in the group. Manchester United started off the group quite nicely, and RB Leipzig seems to have regained their mojo in the group. They're also one of the contending leaders of that group, and then you look at PSG and they are suffering, and you can understand why. So the only problem for PSG at this point will be in the Champions League, not even in the French League, because I could recall vividly well that this is a team where they lost their first 2 matches of the season, and right now you look at the French League on table. I think they're still leading that table as we speak. So it has always been a one-way traffic for the French League. Or the PSG guys have always been the dominating factor for that league, season in, season out. I mean, they've won it as consecutive as much as I can remember. I think about 9 times or thereabout for PSG in the French League on. So I wouldn't say there is much of a problem. PSG is like Juventus of the Italian Serie A. Their quest at this point, their primary quest at this point, obviously, will be the Champions League crown, not necessarily the French League. And that is why they keep changing managers as much as they could, trying to bring in quality that will guarantee them the UEFA Champions League trophy. The same thing with Juventus, like I mentioned. So it's just bad for PSG. I mean, they got to the finals of the UEFA Champions League last season only to be defeated by a flawless Bayern Munich. And right now they are trying to see how they can regroup and attack again, see if they can get to the apex of the competition, being the final again, and maybe probably this time win it, because we've seen Liverpool do it the first time they got to it against Real Madrid, unable to seal victory. And on the second time of asking for Liverpool, they got to it back to back against Tottenham Hotspur, and they were able to do it this time around. Probably Thomas Tuchel and maybe the management of PSG were looking towards something in that direction, but it's tough at this point because we can have those star players out, and you expect to always get the victory in the UEFA Champions League, where you meet, in my opinion, the best of the best player in the UEFA Champions League, because you need to topple your league, to some extent, at least be among the first 3 or the first 4, as the case may be, depending on your domestic league, to see yourself playing in the UEFA Champions League. So you need everything you have. You need all the weapons in your arsenal to unleash to be able to get to that level. So it's just quite unfortunate for them at this point, but I want to believe they will get back, and when the players are back, probably it depends on the time they will get back. And again, this will also test Thomas Tuchel. How far can you go with this team with all the players out? Because firing the manager could be something looming on the sideline, because I don't think he has done anything extraordinary for the PSG side since he took over the side. I think he won about 4 trophies last season, but they're all domestic trophies, including the French League 1. This is something that PSG are used to at this point. Got them to the UEFA Champions League final. I want to believe that's even the bone of contention why the management decides to allow him continuing the job. But this season again, how far can you go? And with these scares here and there, players out and these other ones out because of injury, you begin to ask yourself how far can the man go, and then look at the group he found himself. So it might just be a very difficult season in the Champions League for Thomas Tuchel. How good Thomas Tuchel is has been put to test already, and we'll see how it goes in the Champions League.
All right, so just to still remind us, Tottenham are temporarily on top of the English Premier League table, at least for the time being.
Tottenham are on top of the table. Don't say temporary. You can't predict exactly what's going to happen in the other leftover games to complete the number.
Okay,
so
they have gone top of the table
until top that table.
Man City, Liverpool, and the others play. Okay. So it will look like I'm against Tottenham. All right, let's move on and talk about the Italian Serie A. And I'm tempted to play AC Milan song because I don't understand what is going on in Juventus. Well, we will not be starting with AC Milan, but Juventus. Well, they would need help and some prayers, maybe. They did get the goal in the 15th minute. Cristiano Ronaldo with the goal. Before Ronaldo limped out with a perceived injury now. But we'll get to find out maybe in the coming hours what's actually wrong with him. But in the 90th minute, Felipe Caicedo equalized for Lazio. So it's Lazio 1, Juve 1. And AC Milan are actually the ones topping the table with 6 matches played. That's why I decided to play their song. Okay. For the time being, according to Reliance, it's not temporarily, Abi. Until the other people.
They are topping.
Every other person has played, actually, that can threaten them, really. Sassuolo, okay, some are playing anyway at the moment. But for now, AC Milan are on top of the Italian Serie A table with 16 points. Games currently ongoing. Atalanta are currently up against Inter Milan. Genoa are currently up against Roma. Torino up against Crotone. Those games are just 5 minutes away, or 5 minutes into those games, rather. Bologna will be up against SSC Napoli later on. And AC Milan could extend that 16 points to 19 points if they beat Hellas Verona later tonight. So I don't even see them going down today. But let me come to you, Chidubem. Juventus. Is it looking like we will know who will be sacked first between the two ex-players of their various teams now? Talking about Juventus and Manchester United. They did beat Ferencváros, but anybody can beat Ferencváros. They were beaten by Barcelona some 1 or 2 weeks ago. They drew against Hellas Verona around October, the last week of October. Drew against Crotone also. Or do you think they'll keep faith with him, Andrea Pirlo?
Well, I think the comparison is not even too good to make at this point because both of them are different stages of their careers.
No, I'm not saying. Wait. Wait. Maybe you didn't hear me. I did not say who is better. I said who will go first.
No, I'm not saying.
Does it look like Andrea Pirlo will be sacked?
I'm not saying either that one is better than the other. I'm only saying the comparison.
I'm not comparing.
It's not particularly.
Them. I'm talking about being sacked
right now because. I don't think it would be right to be talking about the sack of Andrea Pirlo at this point. He just came into the saddle for Juve, and he's still trying to see how to make things work for this Juve side, instill his own philosophy in the side, And yes, you make the argument that it's Juve for crying out loud. Anybody should come there and win the league, at least as a minimum requirement to stay on the job. But this is just how many games? 6 games, 7 games to the season. So I think it's still early for anybody to be thinking about a sack for Andre Pirlo at this point. It could take up until maybe the first quarter of the season if results don't go according to plan. If it's a terrible showing from Juve, and it is not even close to a terrible showing yet from Juventus. They've played how many games this season? 7 games. They've won 3 and they've drawn 4, and they are somewhere on the 3rd position on the Serie A. So that does not call for alarm. It does not. It's not a crisis mode yet. They're not Sheffield that hasn't won a game in the season or even won 1 game. Even by their standards. In the Champions League, where are they? They are still second on the table behind Juventus behind Barcelona with 6 points. So I don't think they're in crisis mode yet, and that mode where you want to be calling for his sack. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, on the other hand, is a man that is into his 3rd season with Manchester United. So it's a different picture altogether. He's had time to blend, to instill whatever he wants into the player. So if it's not working, if it didn't work for 2.5 years, what's the guarantee it's going to work in the next 2 or 4? So I think for Pirlo, he will get some time. Definitely his performances, depends on how they come, will buy him some time. And at least till the end of the season, or if he gets fired, I think it's going to take disastrous returns from him, or maybe just below par performances, because Juventus are used to above par performances. So if it turns out performances that will leave Juve maybe languishing somewhere in mid-table towards January, then I think the club might have to, it might be a signal for alarm and for change. But for now, I think Pirlo will stay on the job. He's had his own issues here and there with, I think some of the things he's trying to do are conflicting. He's trying to instill a lot of things, and though they will take time, they press. We are seeing Juventus press, and it's strange to watch Juventus press because all my life I've never seen Juventus press before, and I'm seeing it now, and it's strange to watch. But hopefully, in time, they're going to learn, and that's why I said it will take time, because for you to teach a team how to press, even Arsenal that were partly used to pressing the ball, it was even difficult for Mikel Arteta. It took time. So I think for now, it will take time for that to happen.
Sorry to cut you in, but I've heard press for a very long time, and I know what it means. But for the layman now, can you break it down a little bit? Okay. I'm going to be asking you this favor for the first time.
Okay. For those listening, press is basically the opponent has the ball, just maybe they are trying to play out from the back with their goalkeeper, and then the forward players are just on the neck of the players. They are chasing you down with the ball. It's not like the teams that will sit back and defend, like Manchester United when they are playing against bigger teams. Sit down, wait for you to come out, and then try to steal the ball from you and run at you. But this time, it's like what Liverpool does with Sadio Mane, Firmino, and Salah. Before you want to pass the ball from the back, they are in your face. They are just in front of you, waiting for you, chasing you down to see if you make a mistake. And we are seeing Juventus try to do that this season. It is strange because they've not been used to doing that in the past. But I think overall, like I've said, Pirlo will get some time, but he has to start getting the performance, the results. Because if he doesn't get the results, then it's going to be hard for Juve not to kick him out, because they've kicked out managers in the past who've even done way better than he has managed to achieve. But like I said, it's early days. If they could kick out Allegri and kick out Mauricio Sarri, then if Pirlo continues on this pattern, it's only a matter of time before he gets out.
All right, let's come to AC Milan, and I'll be coming to Image of God. AC Milan are on top. 6 games played, 16 points gathered. And if they win tonight, they would even extend their stay on top to maybe let's say another week now, for another week, with maybe moving their points from 16, the tally, to 19 points. What are they doing right this season that they were not doing other seasons?
Everything. Really, they are doing everything right. The manager is on point. The team spirit is on point. The defensive play from them is on point. Simon Kier came into the team from, I think, Atalanta, and then he's been a rock at that back. Alessio Romagnoli is the captain of that team. He was out for some time, and then we barely noticed, because I watched a lot of AC Milan. I used to support AC Milan back then, so I still have that. I still have that connection with them. Me? let's leave that
Okay,
for another day.
I can see.
Don't be fooled
No,
with
no,
the jersey. It's a Los Blancos.
I can see.
That's the conversation for another day. But I'm saying
You used to support AC Milan.
Yeah.
That's the one we know now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I still have that connection with it. I watch a lot of AC Milan matches.
Okay.
So I've followed their progression from last season. You know, since the restart last season, AC Milan, they have not lost a match in the Serie A. And that was when Ibrahimovic came into the fold and then Stefano Pioli was appointed. That was exactly when he sacked Gattuso now, before Stefano Pioli came in. So Stefano Pioli, you know, very experienced coach. He's coached at I think Atalanta and then Fiorentina. He's a very experienced coach. He knows how to do it. So and Ibrahimovic coming into the team has stabilized the front line. The front line now. So and then for the back line, like I said, Simon Kier, this guy played for Sevilla. Nobody really knew him. Yeah. And then he came to Atalanta. Atalanta loaned him out to, I think, Fiorentina. He didn't really have a good spell at Fiorentina. So he was brought into AC Milan and he has been a rock. Like I said, Romagnoli was out and we barely noticed. The guy, he stepped in and he did very well. He did very, very well for the AC Milan side. So I'm saying everything is going well for them. You asked me what they are doing right, and I feel they are doing everything right for them. And I think they should keep Ibrahimovic fit because he offers them a lot going forward. Offers them a lot. Goals, hold up play, generating free kicks from nowhere, even penalties. He does a lot of that. And then the midfield, I heard the news about...
Who are they competing with on Zlatan Ibrahimovic, retirement or other clubs?
No, I'm saying
don't mind
him
just
fit.
go on.
I'm saying keeping him fit. He's already 39 for crying out loud. So for the midfield, I don't know. I heard the news about Çalhanoğlu. Man United is on his throne now. That they want the guy. And I said that guy is the life wire of that AC Milan.
Çalhanoğlu is
Even though Brahim Diaz was brought in, but Brahim Diaz doesn't play that much. He comes in from the bench. But Çalhanoğlu he has a perfect understanding with Ibrahimovic. He's almost telepathic, So I feel he and Ibrahimovic should just find a way to stay fit for the whole of the season. I think they will finish in the top 4.
All right. Once again, I'm not sure I read out the results we had yesterday. Cagliari did beat Sampdoria 2-0. Benevento did lose to Spezia 3-0. Parma did penalty goalless draw with Fiorentina. And from there we move on to Spain, where yesterday was all about this particular set of players now led by that man, El Messias, Lionel Messi. Ousmane Dembele and Antoine Griezmann, Lionel Messi, Pedri. A brace from Lionel Messi as Barcelona did beat Real Betis 5-2. Barcelona took the lead in the 22nd minute through Ousmane Dembele before I think Antoine Griezmann missed a penalty or so in the 33rd minute. Then Antonio Sanabria equalized for Real Betis, and we're thinking, yes, we are in for a good game. Antoine Griezmann, it was a good game anyway, took Barcelona to the forefront again in the 49th minute. They were now leading by 2-1. Lionel Messi then scored a penalty in the 61st minute. I think it was his sixth straight penalty or something like that.
Yeah.
And they call him the penalty converting machine. Instead of calling him Pesci, brother, Pesci. Yes. Then we now saw him score a clear-cut goal now in the 82nd minute. Then Pedri finished things up, even if the Real Betis side had made it 3-2 in the 73rd minute. Well, tonight we'll be having, or let me just run through the games we had yesterday. SGUSK did play at 1-0 with Eibar. Wakali just saw like 10 minutes in that one. Sevilla did beat Osasuna by 1-0. The goal scored by Lucas Ocampos from the penalty spot. Atletico Madrid did beat Cadiz 4-0. Luis Suarez scored. Felix with a brace to right there Marcos Llorente with one of those goals. So a brace from Luis Suarez, one from Joao Felix, one from Luis Suarez, and one from Marcos Llorente. And tonight or today, Getafe are currently losing to Villarreal. That game is in the 61st minute, 2-1. Chukwueze is not part of this one yet. He's on the bench. The game is in the 61st minute. Villarreal leading 2-1. Real Sociedad will be up against Granada by 4:15. Levante will take on Deportivo Alaves 6:30. 6:30 will also see Real Valladolid come up against Athletic Bilbao, and Valencia will be up against Real Madrid by 9 p.m. So what does the table look like at the moment? Villarreal are leading that one. Currently, if it ends like this for them, yes, if the game ends like this, on the live table, they are leading with 18 points from 9 games. That's if it ends this way. But Atletico Madrid, who played yesterday, have played 7 matches and have got 17 points. Real Sociedad have played 8 matches and have got 17 points. Real Madrid have played 7 matches and have got 16 points. Granada have played 7 matches and have got 14 points. You're wondering where Barcelona, they are? I'm also wondering. Okay, they are 8 on the table, on the live table now, with 11 points from 7 matches. Reliance, Barca came out tops against Real Betis. I mean, not a surprising result, really. 5-2, and Messi scoring another penalty. They're beginning to get lots of penalties these days. Does it tell anything about the pressing nature? Because last season, I think Real Madrid, they were getting lots of penalties, and I was on the other side, and I still said it. I mean, people with their theories, they were pressing a lot. And that's why they were getting those penalties, even if we know some of those calls had some issues too. But for Barcelona, do you think Ronald Koeman has infused a style that has made Barcelona a better side, especially when it comes to the attack?
You're not too early now. It's actually too early to start talking about Ronald Koeman's football philosophy in that Barcelona team. Are they beginning to settle in? Barcelona, yes. I would say they are beginning to settle in. Why? Because they are getting the results. Both of us, we were here in the studio, saw that one when it was 1-1, at some point 2-1, before I could even switch off my eyes from the screen and then concentrate.
So let's start for the penalty.
Yeah.
Jamie
Vardy. It was a handball, and I took VAR intervention for that one to be called, although I didn't think it was even necessary, but an obvious handball it was, and Vardy converted it. So it's Leicester City leading Wolverhampton Wanderers by a goal to nothing. At the moment, it's 80 minutes of football played already. So for Barcelona, they are settling, like I said, gradually. The waves of the troubles in Barca, I think at some point or to some extent, has been abated. The president resigned and all that. Anybody would want to say that the only rancor at this point would be Ronald Koeman, finding a common ground between himself and Lionel Messi. But sometimes last week, Koeman said Messi is not a difficult player to manage. So, and Messi, even after his request to leave the club was turned down, did play like a professional, irrespective of the behind the scene troubles, involving him in the club. He came out to the field of play and displayed what he had to display and continue from there. So they are beginning to settle in. They are getting the results, but I wouldn't be too quick to say that Ronald Koeman has really made much influence in that Barcelona side, that one would want to believe that Barcelona is back to reckoning. It's going to be too quick a decision to make or a conclusion to make for Barcelona. We can only keep our fingers crossed and continue watching the unfolding for Barcelona and see how far they can go afterward. How much of quality opponents have they had, since the beginning of the season? The one we saw that we can't quickly forget will be the El Clasico, and it took the determination of Real Madrid, to mold them in that one. And then afterward, how many other opponents that are of their own class have they played that would test the might of the Barcelona team?
They played Juventus. They played Sevilla as well.
Nope. I wouldn't really count Juventus at this point. I mean, I wouldn't really count Juventus because the key man for Juventus side was missing in that match. Take it or leave it, which is Cristiano Ronaldo, and you also have a rookie manager, managing Juventus at this point. So I wouldn't really count them to be a threat. The man, in fact, at this point, Andropello, okay, let me not make that comparison though, but you have a rookie manager in Andropello who is still trying to find his footing with the Juventus side. So I wouldn't really count them as a quality opponent, at this point that would test the might of Ronald Koeman and whatever he's doing with the Barcelona side. But let's wait until if we even get to the second half of the season, and then we can now make a conclusion for Barcelona or for Ronald Koeman himself, or whether he's going to stay. Let's not forget, elections are still coming, and some persons are still, putting fingers or accusing fingers toward Ronald Koeman or his stay as the manager of the club for a long time, even to see out this contract is also a question on the line, because you can't exactly predict what whoever is coming in, would want to do. But it will take an extraordinary result to convince whoever is going to be the next Barcelona president to let Ronald Koeman stay, because neither of Victor Font or what's the other man's name now, which I can't remember. You observe their press statements and the body languages, you tend to believe that they are not so okay with Ronald Koeman as the manager of the club. So it will take an extraordinary performance. A comparison will be what Sergio Kun Aguero did to Pep Guardiola. He came into the team. He had, in fact, you could tell that he had so much belief on the younger striker now. What's his name? Gabriel Jesus. But Kun Aguero had to convince him that I'm the man for the job, and he gave him. So I think it will take something of that nature to allow the man to say. So let's just continue observing what Ronald Koeman is doing. But I think at this point they have a definite playing pattern. I think they're beginning to have their hands on a definite playing pattern. You know that this is what they will offer if they come into the.
All right. Wisdom. When Messi was left on the bench yesterday, I was surprised, because I knew that there's the issue of resting him because he's not the youngest of players anymore. But against the Betis side, coached by one of the fine coaches, not finest now, you can find around, Pellegrini, who's coached Manchester City before, and are very good with possessing the ball and play highline as well. I was scared for Barcelona, and you could understand why. In that first half, they struggled for creativity. Griezmann didn't really step up, and I don't know what is wrong with Griezmann. I really don't know. He had chances to score goals yesterday. Barcelona should have easily been 3-0 up before that penalty even came in, and somehow Griezmann couldn't find the back of the net. I don't know. Something is wrong with Griezmann. But good thing he found that goal. And who made him get the goal? Messi.
Fine flick, really.
Yeah, exactly. And he was able to lift that
burden off the
shoulders of that man Griezmann. And it was so bad that in the first half, Braithwaite was even asked to warm up in the 35th minute thereabout, because Griezmann was horrible in the first half. But what am I saying? Messi is so important to the side. I've heard a lot of persons saying Messi is old, he should leave. Without Messi yesterday, Barca struggled for 45 minutes. They couldn't create nothing. When Messi came in the second half, you could see the change. It was obvious, not just in the performance, but also in the scoreline. He turned that game on his head. Yes, people talk about the fact that there was a red card. But no, before the red card came in, that game was turned on his head. Who? Messi. I think Messi is contributing so much to this side that letting him go at this point, I think Barca will struggle if they let Messi go at this point, because they lack creativity. Coutinho came in at the start of the season, looked like he was going to be the man, but he went out injured. But Messi is super important to this Barcelona side. And if you ever thought Messi wasn't a quality footballer at 34 or 33 now, I think you should have a rethink.
All right, and we would be stopping off in the Premier League. I consciously wanted it to be the last part because it contains every other thing. If we started with it, I'm sure we'll not even talk about the other leagues. Yesterday, Everton at Goodison Park. Bernard had given them the lead in 19th minute, and we said, yes, they'll beat United today. But Bruno Fernandes got a brace. Bruno Fernandes, rather, got a brace. And of course, Edinson Cavani finished it off in the 90th minute as Manchester United warmed up to a 3-1 win over the Evertonians. That was not the only game yesterday. We had Crystal Palace beating Leeds United 4-1. Chelsea beating Sheffield United 4-1. Tammy Abraham, Ben Chilwell, Thiago Silva, and Timo Werner with the goals. Mal Godric had given Sheffield United the lead, by the way. In the last game of the day, oh God, what was that Demola Lookman thinking? West Ham United beat Fulham 1-0. Who saw that one? What was that young man thinking?
It was funny since. Well, if he had
gone in, I don't know. He would have been praising the guy now.
So
but he didn't go in.
He didn't go in. So it's one of the things. If he had scored,
98th minute,
we'll be having this conversation.
Has he played a penalty this season in the Premier League? Yes. See, if I was the coach, this is what I would tell. Have you played a penalty this season in the Premier League?
It doesn't mean
why you should have played 10 to have do Panenka.
It takes confidence to try that. He had the confidence and he did it, but it didn't work out. So we should not kill him. But it's not working out.
It deserves killing. The 1 point. No 1 point means to Fulham.
People have tried the other ways of taking penalties and they still missed. So there's no guarantee that if he played it the routine way, he would have scored.
All right, Nathaniel, let's come to Manchester United up against Everton. It was a game where some felt some people would have been exposed more or further put a dent. It should have further put a dent in their career at the club. And the man, all these things I'm saying is about his Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Some people were saying, okay, if he loses tomorrow, then we are sure that the reports that they are looking for Mauricio Pochettino would actually become a reality if it had not even started, like the media has been telling us. What do you make of that game?
Basically, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer should maybe at this point in time doing a kind of Thanksgiving when he goes to church today, because these guys, they fought for him, they played very well, and I would say he makes the right squad, he picked the right squad. When you have Bruno Fernandes, McTominay, and Fred in the middle of the pack, they will be more combative and a little bit, strengthen the defense going forward, because they helped the defense line much. They kept Dakori and Alan and even Segosin, they kind of in that midfield very quiet. They play, in short, the midfield played the football yesterday. Bruno Fernandes was just so fantastic. All thanks to Bruno Fernandes. I will always keep calling his name. Bruno Fernandes was the man of the match yesterday. He did fantastically well, and I'm even thinking by now they should have been thinking of giving him the captainship. He is the leader of that team. Not even Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire has a lot to settle in his own part of his own personal life right now, because a lot has been going on with Harry Maguire. But a good one for him. Maybe right now a lot of people might just take it easy with him right now, based on the win. He has gotten some kind of a sigh of relief after the shambolic performance at Istanbul, and a couple of some certain ups and downs without consistency when it comes to their performance. A good one for the team, nice one for Manchester United. I hope they will keep on this kind of performance, at least to keep the managers on his job, because if they keep making mistakes, if they keep bringing out bad results, I tell you, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be fired.
Who saw the Twitter trend yesterday? I saw the funny trend. Ole in. Like United fans, which way now? This week is Ole out. Next week Ole in.
There's a game. I'm not sure I played it too much, but I know my sister used to, when we were kids, in and out together.
It's becoming a joke these days, Every other week is that Ole in.
But it shows they do not have too much trust in the man. I mean, it looks like they don't have too much trust in this man.
It's just when you asked Chidibem about Pirlo with Juve, I think, for a club that hires a manager as inexperienced as Pirlo or Solskjaer or Lampard, it shows that they are ready to stick with these guys, because they have no antecedents whatsoever. Okay, maybe Lampard has a thing or two, and then Solskjaer had that thing with Mulder.
But the Premier League as well.
But I feel for a club to go for managers as inexperienced as these guys, I think they are ready to stick with it. They are ready to, wait it out for them to see what they eventually bring to the table. And I think that's just what is going on. Pirlo is going to have this season so far he doesn't finish in a very bad position on the table. I think he's going to have this season to bring whatever he has, to inculcate whatever he has into that team.
All right.
And then I think Soja has spent 3 years already.
He's his third year.
Yeah, he's done enough. I think he doesn't have anything to bring to the table anymore. But Lampard, I think Lampard will also have this season.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just what I feel.
All right. Well, we'll be going to the big game. And who do I start with? Let me start with the home side. Talking about Manchester City. In terms of the song to play, let me not leave it in the Premier League. I like the spice. City. All right, Liverpool take on title rivals Manchester City at the Etihad this afternoon, a contest that may ultimately come down to a battle between the Premier League champions, uncharacteristically porous defense, and the home side star-studded attack. Jurgen Klopp's side may have had the meanest defense in the top flight for the past 2 campaigns, conceding just 22 and 33 goals in 2018-2019 and 2019-2020 season respectively. But that rock-solid backline has evaporated this season. Liverpool have worrying letting 15 goals in their 7 Premier League games this campaign, as many as they shipped in their first 26 top-flight matches last term. Indeed, it's the most the Reds have conceded 7 games into a league campaign since the 1964-1965 season, while only newly promoted West Brom have let in more so far this season. Now, with starman Virgil van Dijk missing from the visitors' backline this weekend for their toughest examination of the campaign, City must be fancying their chances of closing the gap on the leaders, given both the potency of their forward line and their seemingly settled defense. Jurgen Klopp says Man City are, in quote, one of the hardest teams to face in the world or in world football.
It's a very, very difficult game, hopefully for both teams, because both teams will perform on a high level, so that's it. We are that early in the season, and so many things are different this year. Nothing is to compare with last year. Nothing is to compare with the year before. So it's, I said, everything is different, and we just have to make sure that we get through very intense periods, line up the fittest players, and play the best football we can. And in this case, it is against Man City, which is obviously one of the most difficult games to play in the world.
All right, it's going to be up or coming up today. No need of talking too much. Let me allow the guys do the talking. And I'm starting with Reliance. Can the defensive prowess of Liverpool stand tall against the offensive wonders of Manchester City?
That's left to be seen by 5:30 later this evening. We will see how much Jurgen Klopp and his boys can fare with. How far can they go with the absence of Virgil van Dijk and Fabinho, who are 2 key defenders for the team. Fabinho naturally is not a central defender, but he deputizes in that spot in the absence of Virgil van Dijk. But one thing is given for the two sides: they are very good attacking wise. They have options attacking wise. Liverpool same. Diego Jota scoring goals these days, scored his hat-trick at some point when they played in the Champions League, and questions are beginning to wax. Is he replacing Firmino already? Which is, apparently he might replace Firmino because he can have someone give you those numbers, which is something that you expect to win a match.
That's a really big question, because Klopp was asked that question and he says he can't
explain to people
exactly what Firmino contributes if they don't see it.
You're supposed to see it.
So, attacking wise now, it's already established that both sides are good. You look at Manchester City on the other aspects of it. But one thing for Manchester City wisdom in the Premier League this season is that it's clear they've been struggling. They were able to muster up or labor to win Sheffield United 1-0. Ordinarily, you expect Manchester City to wallop Sheffield United with 2, 3, 4 goals. Again, West Ham, it was 1-1 draw. Against Leeds United, maybe an extra consideration now for Leeds United, but it was also 1-1. So it has been struggles in the resumption of the league for Manchester City. It's only in the Champions League that they seem to have the upper hand. Defeated Olympiacos 3-0. I think Marseille with the same scoreline, 3-0. But in the Premier League, there's been a journey of cracks and bumps for Manchester City. They've not been able to grind out clear-cut results, but they've been winning. That's the thing. But for Liverpool on their own aspect, is it any different? I don't really think so for Liverpool as well. I don't really think it's entirely different from what Manchester City are also going through. They are scoring goals, yeah, but are they able to do it in fine form like they did last season? I clearly doubt if an absolute yes would be the answer. So what will be tested this evening when both sides go against each other toe-to-toe will be the defense. Who will be better off in terms of putting the defense together? For Pep Guardiola, he has signed a couple of defenders this season, signed Nathan Ake to the side to bolster up his defense. It has always been a problem for Pep. I mean, since I knew him back in the days with Barcelona, he has always had struggles to have those what you could describe as clear-cut or A-class defenders, but he's getting the result and getting the trophies as well. So sometimes you just tend to overlook those things. So it will be the test of the defense. Who is a better conservative manager at this point? Is it Pep Guardiola or is it Jurgen Klopp? Because both managers are managers who we know for attacking. So who will be better conservative? Would they even want to be conservative when they take on each other this evening? That's another question entirely. But who will be able to manage the defense line better will get the win later this evening.
All right.
Wisdom, yeah, I'm fascinated by the fact that City have a rather funny statistics when it comes to their goal scoring this season. They scored just 9 goals the whole season, and that is quite funny from a Citizen's perspective, because they played 6 games this season and they scored just 9 goals and have shipped in 8
in the Premier League.
Yeah, that's a goals difference of just a +1, and Liverpool have scored 17 goals. That's almost double what Manchester City has managed this season.
And they've shipped in.
Albeit the fact that they've shipped in 15, which leaves them with a goal difference of +2. So it tells you one thing, that Manchester City are worrisome when it comes to the attacking, the famous attacking prowess of the Citizens. They've struggled for goals this season, and you can understand why. Yeah. They are without Kun Aguero. They are, top scorer as a club now in their history. And of course, Gabriel Jesus, who should ordinarily deputize for him. So where are the goals going to come from? That's the question for Manchester City this time around. But in defense, I think they are rock solid with the return of Aymeric Laporte. That's the man that solidified things for them towards the end of last season when they found some sense of consistency, and is back in the squad as well. Kevin De Bruyne as well is also there when it comes to creativity. But the chances are always created for Manchester City. But we see them missing some of these chances. Sterling has not lived up to the billing this season. He's yet to find his footing. The goal-scoring boots, we saw him with last season. He's yet to find that goal-scoring boots, and that is a problem. Are we going to be seeing him stepping up today? I think that's what we are left to. I want to see this evening. If Sterling is going to come up with the goods, players that will have to step up this evening. If Manchester still will have to get the victory against the Liverpool side, who I think are going to get goals, because they've got virtually all their forward players playing, and not just playing, in good form. Mo Salah has scored how many goals? 6-7 this season. Mane, you know what he can do any day, anytime. Bobby Firmino is even charged up now because of what Diogo Jota is doing. So he knows he has to up his game. And of course, you've got a capable replacement in Diogo Jota himself if he comes from the bench. So I think it's going to be a very, very interesting fixture to see how the man Pep Guardiola is going to be able to come up with the goals against this Liverpool side. And I think he has an easier job, so to speak, because it's a depleted Liverpool side defensively. But I'm watching out for a player like Sterling and also a player like Riyad Mahrez. Two of them will have to step up today if Manchester United will get the goal. Or maybe Manchester City. Or maybe Kevin De Bruyne will do something.
All right.
Meanwhile, Leicester City.
And another penalty was handed to Leicester City. And it was not Panenka this time, but it was saved. Jamie Vardy up against Rui Patricio. And Patricio, every time I look at him, I remember Kali Kevin, because he wears number 11 instead of number 1, because that number 1 was taken out because of just in honor of Kali Kevin. I don't know if VR might actually tell us to retake this one. I don't know, but I love the football continues. I love the VAR. I think technology has come to stay, but I just think they need to sit down and readjust a lot of things. The UEFA were calling for FIFA to review the handball.
The handball rule, yeah.
I said we'll talk about it, but time. Let me get the predictions of the guys now. For this particular
Wisdom,
one.
let me quickly. Chidubem,
You said
Gabriel Jesus is actually back because he played for them in the Champions League.
Yeah, I was talking about past games.
Past
Okay,
games.
he's back for this one.
Yes.
I forgot.
Yes.
Honestly, thank you for that.
Your predictions.
Chidubem talks about Man City, struggling to score goals. And I think Liverpool are going to come at them because Liverpool feel they are a little bit depleted when it comes to the back line now. So they are going to use their own power now, their own strength now to play this game, and which is the attack, because their defense is almost nothing to write home about. So they know they have power when it comes to the attack. So I think if they are going to attack this Liverpool the way they have always done, so it's going to be a game of goals for me. So I think it's going to end 3-1 in favor of Liverpool.
Nathaniel.
So many goals. Anyways, I'm seeing Liverpool taking this on because even the defense line that we're talking about, I guess, if not, I did not guess in any way because we saw Nathaniel Phillips, did the job for them.
Yeah, exactly. They've not considered
Atlanta,
much goal.
a high-scoring Atlanta side, and the guy played a very good game with Gomez. Fantastic game during the time. So maybe they will win. Liverpool win.
Against popular opinion, I don't think it's going to be a high goal scoring encounter. I think it's going to be with littler goals than we expect. But I see Liverpool edging this one. I see them edging this one. Or let me just say Liverpool win or draw.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lance.
Whoever defends better wins.
Straightforward.
I wonder how you managed to make decisions in your... Anyway, let's get to hear from you. 0817-0000951, 0817-951-0951. The text message portal remains 0701-9339-962. Who is it going to be tonight? Manchester City or Liverpool? And what do you make of what happened yesterday and earlier today? Today's Sports Live, good afternoon.
Hello, the Superman.
Hey, I greet you. Asna Baba Twin.
Yes, calling you from Abu.
Let's hear you.
I want to confirm something. Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. How far they back coming?
No, it will be 2021. All things being equal. Yeah, and they're hardly equal. 2021.
I need to see that fight. Take it to the back, Mr. Superman. I need to see that fight.
All right. That's now about to it. Thank you so much. You will see the fight as long as, of course, God keeps you alive. Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Happy Sunday.
Liverpool man. No photocopy.
No photocopy, no duplicate.
Welcome.
Thank you, brother man. I think every single one of you have said how the match will be like, which is absolutely correct. Because if you look at it, this is in Manchester City had never been able to win a match with more than one goal. They played 1-1, Sheffield United 1-0, Arsenal 1-0. So I wonder how that kind of a team will beat Liverpool that never played the match and it ended with 1-0.
All right.
Liverpool has won their matches 2-1, 3-0, and what have you. Then Manchester City, this time, if you look at the table, you will find them where you did not believe that they will be there. So I think this one for people who bet, if they have that foresight, they will just use their whole money and they give it to Liverpool because there is nothing Manchester City will do today. Because after Liverpool won the league, they were able to beat Liverpool 4-0 when Liverpool were not interested about anything.
All right,
and they clap hand for themselves.
No photocopy.
Now that the league is fresh, the league is virgin, I think Liverpool will show them how the game should be. If the match will end with nothing less than what one of you have already said, 3-1 in the favor of the most tactical team in Premiership.
Nice,
Thank you so much for your thoughts. Calls Liverpool the most tactical team in the Premier League. Today's Sports Live.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, it's Faith.
Faith, welcome.
So I want to talk about the Liverpool versus City's match.
Go ahead.
Today. Yeah, judging from the performance of both teams this season, I think I'm expecting Liverpool to win and to win convincingly. That's the match this evening.
Okay, thank you so much, Faith. Expecting Liverpool to win convincingly. Today's Sports Live, good afternoon.
Afternoon, this is Nkemka.
Okay, welcome.
Please, Superman,
Mm.
you did not give us other results of EPL.
We gave you did not listen, no.
Tottenham versus this, you didn't give us.
We talked about it now. We're here in the studio. It ended 1-0 in favor of Tottenham.
Okay.
Harry Kane with the goal.
Please, what of Ajax, please?
Ajax.
Ajax,
You plan for your sleep?
yes.
Okay, no worry. I'll get you the result. Now today they play, Abi.
It was
Yesterday. I'll get you the result. Don't worry. It was yesterday actually. Ajax. No, if you're sincere and you tell me you played it in yours, me I'll get you the result.
Ajax, you trash.
I don't have problem. But don't be asking me straight. Just tell me straight that. See that game you. You said it was Ajax what?
You trash.
Then it was not yesterday.
It wasn't yesterday.
It should be Friday, if so, because.
Today.
It was not. It was not yesterday.
Maybe it's today.
It was yesterday.
Maybe it's today because it wasn't yesterday.
Okay. Maybe we'll get that. Today's Sports Live. Good afternoon.
It's me. There's something I want.
Okay, it's ended. Ajax 1-3 goes to nothing. Go ahead.
There's something I want to confirm for me. In the La Liga table, I want to know the position of Atletico Madrid in the table.
Okay.
Because since the Barcelona decided to allow Luis Suarez to leave the club, and since he left, what the man is doing over there, and Atletico Madrid find it difficult to score more than 3 goals, but now they score to 4-5 goals from matches, and they always almost get a goal there. So I want you to check the table for me. I want to see the position.
No problems. I would also get that across to you. But it's Villarreal who are leading 3-1. Gerard Merona has made it 3-1 in favor of Villarreal. Don't tell me it's another penalty.
Okay. Maybe they've not decided.
Okay, but Leicester still leading Wolves by 1-0. And on the live table in Spain, Atletico Madrid are second with 17 points from 7 games. They are behind Villarreal, who have played 9 matches already, who have 18 points. But Atletico Madrid are in second place with 7 matches played now. 17 points they've gathered in total. 7 matches played for them, 7 matches played for Barcelona, 7 matches played for Real Madrid, who will be playing later tonight. 0817-0000951, 0810-951-0951. But let's go to the message portal. Chidube.
Okay, the message portal. Okay, we're having issues with that. We'll get back to that.
Okay. But the phone line is still open. Let's run through the results we've had across the major leagues in Europe. In England, West Brom did lose to Tottenham, as we said earlier, by 1-0. Harry Kane with the goal. Leicester City and Wolves is half-time in that encounter, and it's Vardy who gave them the lead from the penalty spot. 1-0 in favor of Leicester. Man City will be up against Liverpool by 5:30. Arsenal will take on Aston Villa by 8:15. In the La Liga, Villarreal, as I told you, that game is almost done and dusted. 93 minutes. 3-1 in favor of Villarreal. Real Sociedad will be up against Granada later. Levante will take on Deportivo Alaves. Real Valladolid will be up against Athletic Bilbao. Valencia will take on Real Madrid. In the Bundesliga, is Wolfsburg who are leading Hoffenheim. Renato Steffen with the goal for the Wolfsburg side. That game is in the 21st minute. In Italy, Lazio, deep Lazio 1-0 draw with Juventus. Juve had led with Cristiano Ronaldo before Felipe Caicedo equalized. Felipe Caicedo equalized for Lazio. Atalanta are playing out a goalless draw with Inter Milan. That game, it's halftime in that one. Halftime also between Roma and Genoa. Roma leading this one by 1-0. Henrik Mkhitaryan with the goal for the Roma side. For the other game, Torino are currently playing out a goalless draw with Crotone. That game is also halftime in that encounter with Simi Wankwo and Junior Messias leading the Crotone attacking lineup. Bologna will take on SSC Napoli by 6 p.m. AC Milan will be up against Hellas Verona by 8:45. In France, Brest are beating Lille. Have beaten Lille 3-2. Lens did beat Reims 1-0. Lorient with Terre Murphy leading the attack. According to playing a goalless draw with a Moses Simon-less nonce. Moses Simon is injured. Metz, currently playing out a 1-0 draw with Dion. It's halftime there also. Nîmes are losing to Angers by 2-0. Nice will take on Monaco later on, and Lyon will be up against Saint-Etienne. And the man who asked for the FC Utrecht Ajax result, Ajax beat the Utrecht side by 3-0. Dusan Tadic, David Klassen, and Kwesi Promise. 0817 0000951 0810 9510951. Manchester City up against Liverpool. Who takes the game tonight or this afternoon or later this evening Nigerian time? Maybe it might be Man City, maybe it might be Liverpool. Priye just stepped into the building. Let me get your predictions. Man City, Liverpool. I know you'll be here for probably live coverage of that one.
I think it will be a very difficult game, but I see City and taking this one because we've been seeing the antecedents of City these days. I think they'll be growing strength to strength. And no doubt Liverpool are actually getting their mojo back when it comes to the trio. I'm talking about not Firmino this time, but Diogo Jota. I think this time around, City will actually want the game more. Because of the position they are in the league right now. So I think City will win. Slim win.
All right, so it was good asking him because it was almost like everybody was giving it to Liverpool. So Priya, you are the one giving it to Man City now. You're the only one on the other side in this building. Maybe me, I might be with you two on that side. That Man City will win. You never can tell. But the phone line is still open 0817 0000951 0810 9510951. 951. And the tennis game, the Paris Masters, it's already on between Daniil Medvedev and Alexander Zverev. Zverev have taken the first set 6-5. We are into the second set. Okay. Wait to see. I think that one is still on.
6-5.
It's not complete. Yes. Yeah. So I think they are still on it. But it's 6-5 currently. Zverev is the one leading the set. 6-5. I know. Maybe if he makes it 7, it will be over. That's if he does. If not, it will get to 6-6 and then 7-6 as the case may be. But thoughts of the guys, will still come back to that. And now coming back to you, Nathaniel. Now, Liverpool have been without Virgil van Dijk for some time.
Yeah.
Do you think they fared well? I don't mean everything they've done this season. I mean from when Virgil left, with the injury, when he got injured, when Joe Gomez and the others, now Fabinho, the Phillips of this world, when they took over, have they really felt the absence of Virgil van Dijk?
Before I answer that one, even before Virgil van Dijk was out injured, he wasn't at his best anymore. Yes, it wasn't at his best compared to last season. Because he dropped drastically when it comes to even his area balls, calculation in terms of approaching the games, and even he make bad decisions. So since he left, they've not missed him that much. They've not missed him that much. Rather, they've missed Fabinho. Fabinho is being missed badly. They need Fabinho more than they need Van Dijk currently in that squad. Since they left, I don't think they've not lost, but they've drew some matches, but they've not lost. And they can come in when even this guy that they came in for him, what's that his name? Nathaniel Phillips. Yes, he has stepped up. He has stepped up to the occasion. He played very well. He kept his cool. Even the area ball, he clears it very well, and they'll be getting the results all thanks to the guys up front. Sadio Mane, Mo Salah, what's that his name again? Diego Jota, and even Firmino. They've been doing their best. They've been trying very well. They've been doing their best. And the defense line, they've been okay. They've been solid.
All right.
They've been solid for the past 2-3 matches now.
Pray you have something to say.
Yeah, I think it's about the opponents they're actually playing before we actually judge that defense line. Now, they've not played one of the biggest set of teams in English Premier League and even in the Champions League. So we believe that they're actually stable when they face immediately after the Man City game. That's when they will test the strength of that defense pairing. But right now, I think they are decent with the average team. But I think it will be difficult for them when they face this.
But Atlanta is one of the most fierce attacking side currently.
Atalanta is one of the fierce attacking side, no doubt about that. But you ask yourself one thing: if Liverpool is playing you, so total different,
Even the Atalanta, how have they been
approach
performing
this season?
They've been scoring goals.
I'm talking about the approach of Atalanta team. Atlanta team, we know them to be the free-flowing team.
Yeah.
When you're playing against a Liverpool side, they are one more of the high-pressing team, so they will close down even before you get to the center of the pitch.
All right. A quick look at the transfer, the papers before we run out. AS has it that Inter Miami co-owner Beckham wants Real Madrid star Ramos to join the MLS club. Ramos and Beckham were teammates at the Santiago Bernabeu for 2 seasons between 2005 and 2007. The report says while Ramos likes Miami, the defender is likely to stay in Europe, with Madrid apparently offering him a 2-year deal. Foden is set to be rewarded for his form at Manchester City. The Mirror reports the midfielder is set for a big pay rise as he's expected to sign a new contract early next year. Foden's current deal runs until 2024. Previously linked to Manchester United, Lyon forward Moussa Dembele is apparently wanted by West Ham. The Ligue 1 club are reportedly prepared to sell Dembele, and West Ham are interested, according to the Mirror, which says a bid of about £30 million could be enough. Dembele has made just 4 Ligue 1 starts for Lyon this season. Another forward with an uncertain future is Luka Jovic. Marca reports the 22-year-old who is without a goal in 4 games for Real Madrid this season is considering his future. Sergio Romero is expected to leave Manchester United. The Sun says the goalkeeper, whose deal expires at the end of the season, is training alone and hopes to leave the Premier League club for free in January. And well, this is where we would be drawing the curtains on the first half of today's Sports Life. The guys are around. Emeka Dena is already in the building for the second half of today's Sports Life. I'm sure they will bring you updates too when it comes to that game between Man City and Liverpool. That's if they won't even, I'm sure they probably would cover a lot of it live when that game kicks off. 5:30, right? Yes. When that game kicks off. But Reliable Reliance was here. We had Chidubem Njoku, the Chief Justice of Sports. Nathaniel Igeren was here. Sunday Okuelegbe was also here. And Wisdom Obina. Of course, just stay tuned. The guys for the second half will take over from here.
Woke up with the rain, for your dreams be tossed and blown. Woke up with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never walk alone. Woke up with hope in your heart, and you'll never
This is Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt, voice of the people.
Hello, my name is Kanu Wanko, aka Papilo. For the latest and trending sports stories, always listen to Today Sports Live on Today 95.1 FM Port Harcourt.
My name is Gianni Infantino, FIFA president. For the best of sports, always listen to Today Sports Live on Today 95.1 FM Port Harcourt.
What is this magic? I need that magic.
Updates, yeah. Oh yeah, baby, see how it's a go. Hey, Sangalo is a go. Shano is a go. Escobar is a go. Toros is a go. Naira Marley is a go. Olosho is a go. Sayinadin is a go. It's 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 a go. Ongo
go. It's a go. Jerry Wale is a go. It's a go. This is a go. Malosun, this is a go. How much you want better? This is a go. Bado pass the ball. This is a
Yes, good evening, of course, happy Sunday, and welcome to another marathon edition of Today Sports Live, right here on your premium news talk and sports radio station. We are today 95.1 FM, reaching you right here from the city of Port Harcourt. My name is Victor Oriahi. I am your favorite Melanin sports presenter, and in the next 2 hours, 120 minutes, that is, we will be giving you the best of football, talking Nigerian football, but today it's not going to be a Nigerian football show only. We have a game between Manchester City and Liverpool, and 15 minutes to that game, we will be switching our attention by 5:15 there, about to talk about that game proper and give you updates from the very first 30 minutes of the match before we leave the studio. Like I said, my name is Victor Oriahi, and I am never alone. I have the gentleman right here in the building to do justice to the analysis side of things. Let me start with the Odogu himself. He's Emeka Dena. Emeka, good evening to you. Welcome to Today's Sports Live.
Victor, good evening to you. Good evening to our listeners out there. What a weekend already, and we are still looking forward to the big one between City and Liverpool. But before all that, it's time to talk Nigerian football, and no other station does it better. That's just to be modest.
I mean, it's not pride. It's the truth. The fact must be stated. No one does it better when it comes to Nigerian sports in general, not just football, but Nigerian sports in general. No one does it like we do. Priye Isobu is also here in the studio. Priye, good evening to you and welcome.
Good evening, the Menolin Sports presenter. Good evening to the guys in the studio and to the beautiful city of Port Harcourt. Always great to talk Nigerian football, and the draws is quite close. And you know how scary it is when we face North African teams in the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederation Cup. It's quite difficult, and this time around, you're hoping that our teams definitely will make us proud.
Okay, the High Chief himself, Okechukwu Edenko, is also in the studio. Good evening to you,
Good evening,
Okechukwu.
Victor, the Melanin Sports presenter. Good evening, Port Harcourt. Good evening, guys in the studio. Welcome to yet another bumper package of Nigerian football and the top of the weekend's action between Manchester City and Liverpool. No cracker promises to be stronger than this. It can only get better.
The demigod. Well, I mean, I think it's a balance. It's such a balanced show right now because we have the Odogu, we have the High Chief, and we have a demigod as well. Osage Ihimui is in the studio. Osas, good evening to you. Welcome.
Yeah, good evening, Victor, and good evening to everyone out there. Good evening, Port Harcourt. Good evening to all sports fans around the city, around the nation, and around the globe. High Chief has already said it all. It's the cracker. I think it's a decider. It will be the turning point of the English Premiership. And also, great stories coming from our own local scene here.
All right. Well, just to give you a tip of what we will be looking at, NBFL club updates, as well as we expect the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederations Cup draws tomorrow. Yes, the draws will be taking place for both competitions. So the Nigerian teams that would be playing or that would be representing the country on the continent will be knowing their fates tomorrow. Priye said something about that. The Nigerian teams will be hoping to not get a North African team because you know how it is when it comes to North Africa. But then let's see how that one goes. We'll be hearing from the Plateau United gaffer. His name is Abdume Kaba. We'll be hearing from him live on the show to get to speak with him as regards his preparations and their expectations as well from the draws to take place. When it comes to the Nigerian Super Eagles, the preparations seem to be getting on the way for the AFCON qualifiers, double-header fixtures against the Leon Stars of Sierra Leone. Gernot Rohr says he expects all players to be right there at their base in Benin before Tuesday, on or before Tuesday. So we'll be looking at that. What are your expectations for that very game? And do you think with the number of players that have been listed to get the job done, are you expecting a comfortable win by the Super Eagles over the Leon Stars? Eberechi Eze, well, the man was on target yesterday as Crystal Palace saw off Marcelo Bielsa's Leeds United. The big question would be, should the Nigerian Football Federation consider this man? Should Amaju Pinnick look at his side and maybe go and speak to his father? or are we?
Now we're doing it the second time because you have done it already.
So you never can tell. What do you think? Would you want to see this man in the green and white jersey of the Super Eagles? And then, like I said earlier, we'll be switching our attentions to the cracker between Manchester City and Liverpool. It promises to be as exciting as it comes. The first 30 minutes of the game, we'll be giving you the updates and trying to get your reactions as well. The show is always packaged to be very interactive. We don't just do the talking. We give you an opportunity to air your voice. That's why we call the voice of the people. But we give the people an opportunity to share their views as well and their thoughts as regards everything we'll be discussing. You can start doing that from now by sending in your text or your WhatsApp messages to the number 0701 933 9962. I take it again, 0701 933 9962. You can also tweet at us. We are at Today FM 951 at Today FM 951. But the way to copy me, my handle is at Victor Oriahi. You can as well copy Emeka. His handle is at Dena Emeka, at Dena Emeka, DENNAR. Then you have your Emeka to it. Priye's handle is at Priye PZ, at Priye PZ. For Osas, it is
Osas underscore demigod.
Osas underscore demigod. Okay, so you can copy each or any one of us and we will be reading your tweets live on the show. Don't go anywhere. We'll begin proper after this short timeout.
What is this magic? I need that magic.
Updates, yeah. Oh yeah, baby, see I is a go. Hey, Sangalo is a go. Shana Wale is a go. Escobar is a go. Toros is a go. Naira Mali is a go. Olosho is a go. Ayinadin is a go. 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 Ongo is a go. Is a go. This is a go. Is a go. Is a go.
Well, let's start from the preseason matches. So much preseasons going on, I tell you. Even right here in the city, we have the Governor Wike preseason tournament. Well, Aqua United boss Kennedy Boboye has praised his side following their 3-1 win at the Governor Wike's preseason tournament yesterday. Goals from Ukeme Williams, Ndufreke Effiong and Ubong Friday helped the Promise Keepers win the explosive game with Daberechi Ayanwu, who was on song for the Abakaliki-based outfit that is Sino Shore. Yes, they did play Sino Shore. According to the man, Boboye, he says it wasn't a bad game. At least we played against a team that is physically okay. They're a good side too as well. We will continue from here and see what will happen. We lost concentration at a stage and conceded a goal. We had to talk to the boys about the need to focus. But the former Nigeria international mused on the need to expose more players in the preseason tournament. He also said that he's an advocate of continuity, having retained the core players who defended the colours of Aqua United last season. He says it is a preseason tournament meant to see the players we have on ground. Continuity is the only way we can move forward. We can't be changing players all the time. Emeka, speaking about that preseason, before we go to the other games being played and every other thing that's happening, let's talk about Aqua United and the last statement made by Kennedy Boboye in this particular report. He says continuity is the only way we can move forward. We can't be changing players all the time. Do you think this is the narrative in the Nigerian Professional Football League, especially with a lot of clubs? Well, do our clubs really have continuity?
He wants something different because Aqua United are synonymous with, overhauling players. They go on this shopping spree, 10, 15 players, unveil all of them at the same time, after every season. Remember what happened last time when they had John Obu and the Dukudi, the new coaches then. John Obu was the head coach, of course, assisted by Dukudi. Both were new coaches in the club. They came at the same time. They also had about over 10 players unveiled at the same time. So what Boboye is saying is that we cannot be doing this all the time. It's the norm in the MPFL. Most MPFL teams do it. Rivers United, brought close to 10 players ahead of the new season.
Yeah.
You go to Enyimba, it's the same story. Plateau United, every other club. The worst is even Wiki Tourists. Wiki Tourists signed no fewer than 15 new players. A lot of them coming from Enyimba because of the relationship between their coach now, who is a former Enyimba coach, Usman Abdallah, the man that won Enyimba the title last season. So at the end of the day, Boboye is saying we cannot continue like this. We need continuity. We watch these teams out there. The maximum you can see a lot of times could be 5, 6. Maybe Chelsea did 6. Some clubs will not even sign. Some clubs will go for 2 players, 3 players in key areas that they need improvement. It's not a question of bringing in 15 new players. In this MPFL, we have seen a club sign 20 players in one season. Yobe Disasters did it. We have seen clubs sign 17 players in one season. We can't continue like that. That's what Boboye is saying. And if you look at what has happened so far this season, I haven't heard Aqua United signing 10 players, 7 or 8 like they usually do in previous seasons. So I think is the way to go. You must not overhaul your team after every season. That's why the LMC is saying, don't even give these players 1-year contract. Don't even give them 2. Give them maximum of 3 years contract. So that the minimum of 3 years contract, so that you can plan. That's how it is done. You don't see clubs over there signing players for just one season, and after one season you're bringing a new set of players. No, that is not the way things should be done. And I think they're on course if they continue in that manner. I'm not saying they should not sign at all, but come on, you usually want to beef up your squad ahead of the new season because you're going into different competitions. For Aqua United, they will settle for the ITO Cup and the league. They are not playing on the continent.
No.
But I mean, you don't necessarily need to bring in so many players, especially when you don't have so many players leaving. A lot of times you see that some clubs who want to sell these players and bring in new players and all that, but that is not the case for the Aqua United side. We haven't heard that too many players have left the side there. So I think Boboye is on course, and that's what we've been clamoring for all this while, because it's counterproductive most times, because when you bring in so many players at a time, you don't even have the time to even knock them into a winning team ahead of the commencement of the season.
All right. Wise words from Emeka Dena talking about the continuity of players in the Nigerian Professional Football League. Bray, let me come to you. Looking at that result, Sinosure themselves are not a well-known side, not even a top-flight team in the Nigerian Professional Football League. Should, first of all, looking at that game, should Aqua United be excited after picking up a win against that team?
It's not about them being excited. Pre-season is always pre-season. It's about testing new style and testing new players, new recruits, and try to create new patterns the way the manager wants the players to play. It's about trying new things. So I think it's not about Aqua United being excited. It's about them creating that synergy among players in the team. And I think that's exactly what the managers should. So we have seen managers that will win the preseason. At the end of the day, when it comes to the real season, when football starts, and they start struggling. And we've seen managers struggle during the preseason, but when the league season starts, they gel as a team. So it's about the manager actually testing these new players, get players to be fit, because we know how long they were out and due to COVID-19. So I think it's about them getting that much fitness and, of course, building the synergy amongst players, especially the new players.
All right, now looking at the games already played in the Governor Wike preseason tournament, starting with Group A, we have Aqua United, Lobby Stars, Otasolo FC, Rivers United, and Sinosure. Aqua United defeated Sinosure 3-1, so they are top of that group with 3 points. Lobby Stars are second with 3 points. Otasolo,
their win against
Rivers United. Otasolo, Rivers United, and Sinosure have 0 points. Otasolo have not even played a game. In Group B, which is Godoski FC, well, they've played one and they played out a draw. MFMFC themselves have just 1 point. Abia Warriors have 1 point. Bayelsa United have 1 point, and then Udala FC have 0 points as they are yet to play a game. 5 teams in every group. Okay, so let's see how that one goes. Hi, Chief. Looking at the preseason, this season is supposed to begin next week, November.
No, they say anytime
from 15th. Okay, so the LFC has not given a fixed date, but from the statement released by the Nigerian Football Federation, anytime from November 15th. Meaning it could even be next year, but then with because it's anytime from November 15th. But with the it seems like the MPFL is close approaching. With the MPFL fast approaching, do you think these players and these clubs, the clubs entirely, have had enough preparation to go into the season?
Technically, no. You don't just use a preseason of how many matches? Say you play 4 group matches and maybe 2 to get to the finals. It's not enough to ascertain the fitness of players. But overall, I think it's not a bad idea engaging them in such a wonderful and robust preseason tournament. But from the way we're looking at it, they say the league is going to start anytime from 15. These are mere rhetorics and semantics. They are not very, very sure. And that's one of the problems about Nigerian football. There are a lot of uncertainties. Fine, we have a league. Who is the sponsor of the league? The players, you see most of the clubs, they have this wholesale changes, not even signing players. We call it wholesale changes. You change your team as if you're changing your wardrobe, which is not proper for the good of the game. But overall, I think this one will put some of the teams that are participating in a proper perspective to approach the league. But definitely, you don't use these few matches to test the fitness of the players, considering what we're coming out from the Corona saga. Now this ends, so the teams, they are not really prepared for the battle ahead. But it's not a one-off thing. It's not alien or peculiar to one side alone. It's a thing that is peculiar to all the teams in the league. With time, they'll find their rhythm. And but with this, we can never compete with the North Africans any day, not anytime soon.
Okay, well, at the Governor Wike Cup, we have Godoski. Godoski FC played Udala FC earlier today, and it was a 2-1 win for Udala over Godoski. Christian Naji got both goals. Yeah, he got a brace in that one to get them the 3 points. So that means the table that I read earlier, it has changed completely. We'll be giving you the current updates looking at that win from Udala FC. So that means Udala FC now have 3 points and they are top of the table because they have 3 points from one game played. Godoski have just 1 point, so they will be number 4 because they've played 2 matches. MFM, Abia Warriors, Bayelsa United also have just 1 point, but they've played just 1 game. So that is how it stands in Group B of the Governor Wike preseason tourney. Okay, moving on to other matters. But before we do that, let me get the thoughts of Nathaniel Osas as regards the entire season, the preseason tournament and all of it. I just talked about us not being ready to face the North Africans. Are we even ready to play ourselves? Are you expecting high quality football next season with the level of preparation? You know, they say preparation, proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Yeah.
Looking at the fact that the teams, the NPFL sides, it doesn't seem like they've had proper preparation. Should we be expecting wonderful performance from them when the season starts properly?
Okay, based on what has happened, High Chief has already said it. He said it's not peculiar to any team, and I think I'll try to rephrase it here. It's not peculiar to any particular part of sports. We are coming from a period where there was much of a setback as results of the coronavirus, and also many other things that have also led to these setbacks. And that's the way it is in sports. You don't expect these players to come back and give you 100%. It's going to take some time for them to get themselves back into full gear. It's going to take some time for them to achieve full fitness, both mentally and physically. So I'm not expecting too much from them. It's going to be a bit of an up and down performance for now until maybe 3-4 months. And then we can now begin to see players come into action as it's supposed to be.
Okay, well, let's move on to the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederations Cup. As though the MPFL is yet to commence, Nigerian clubs will be taking part in the CAF Champions League and Confederations Cup. They will know their opponents on Monday in the inter-club competitions. Nigerian campaigners in the tournament were determined via points per game. That is the PPG rule last season, after the season could not be concluded due to the outbreak of coronavirus, which halted football activities in the country. Africa's football governing body, CAF, said yesterday afternoon that the draws for the two competitions will be conducted tomorrow, Monday, the 9th of November, in Cairo, Egypt, via video conferencing. Enyimba International and Plateau United will fly Nigeria flag in the Champions League, while Kano Pillars and Rivers United will participate in the CAF Confederations Cup. Out of 4 Nigerian teams that took part in the inter-club competition last season, it was only the People's Elephant that made it to the knockout round of the Confederations Cup, where they lost to Horoya of Guinea. We'll be hearing from Abdul Mekaba, but before we get him on the line, Priye, let's talk about this. What are your expectations? For this particular draws? Which opponents from what part of the continent do you think will get that? Okay, you'll be pretty convinced that at least we can win them.
I think it's very, very difficult. If you look at the southern part of Africa right now, especially the South African League, how organized the PSL has been over the years, it will be difficult for you to actually be happy when you see a Nigerian team that post-COVID-19 are actually facing maybe, let's say, Kaizer Chiefs, let's say the Orlando Pirates, any of the sites in Super Sports United in the PSL. It's quite difficult for them to face it. It's a very difficult one.
Well, we are joined by Coach Abdul Mekaba. He is live all the way from Jos, the capital city of Plateau State. Coach, good evening to you. Welcome to today's Sports Live right here in Port Harcourt.
Good evening.
Okay, Coach, let's start off with the team in general. First of all, how is your team preparing for the resumption of the Nigerian Professional Football League 2020-2021 season?
I can say we have been trying to put things in order to commence our preparation, more especially for the CAF Champions League and domestic league. But the only problem we have is issues that came at one time or the other, like the issue of protest, NSAS protest. That time happens to be the time when we resumed training after about 6 months because of Corona lockdown. Now, after that, we have to go, the whole town have to go under curfew, which is due to the NSAS protests and this looting of palliatives. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so it makes it very difficult for us to even commence training. So we decided to go just to register in a competition in Kazena, pre-season competition, even without training the players. So we go, we use that avenue to play some games and train at the same time. After a match, we do some corrections. And we are now back in Jos. And we'll use this 1 week to train and then approach another pre-season tournament in Aba, which we hope our team will take shape from there. Actually, we are in a very big mess. We need to have competitive games. We hope the league will commence before the Champions League games so that our players will be match fit before our Champions League games.
Okay, well, that really, really sad you want to say, Coach. But then looking at the preseason tournament that Plateau United have already been involved in, how would you say, looking at the fitness level, if you had to score it with percentage, what would you say is the fitness level of the team and the preparation or the level of preparation of the team itself?
I'm very sorry to say, in terms of fitness, I think we cannot be rated 40%. If we are rated high, 30%. and we need time to build our fitness, and we need to commit ourselves very well. If not, we are even very lucky that the Champions League preliminary rounds has been shifted. So we are happy about that because it will give us chance to build our fitness level. And the league, I believe, is no more in November. It's maybe going to be in December. So that is an advantage also to us. We can be able to build our fitness level. But the priority, what we want is to at least build ourselves in games, more especially our league games before the Champions League games. It will help us, not in a small measure.
Okay, Coach, we also hear that according to CAF, the draws for the CAF Champions League, which Plateau United would be taking a part of this season or this new season, will be taking place tomorrow. What are your expectations for those draws? Are there any opponents that you are looking to avoid in the CAF Champions League?
The opponents that we look to avoid are opponents that have been already in a competitive atmosphere where they have commenced their league and teams have been very busy for some time. Because in our own case, we have not started our own. So it's going to be very difficult facing opponents like that. But opponents where they have similar problems with us, I believe we can be able to cope. And by scaling a hurdle, I believe the team will be improving with time.
Okay, Coach, Emeka has a question for you.
Okay.
Coach, it's no secret at all. In this country, you're one of the finest coaches in the land. Nobody forgets what you did at Aqua United and the brand of football you played. One day I took up with them, qualified for the CAF Confederation Cup. Before then, you even qualified for the CAF Confederation Cup with Wikitoris before you moved to Aqua United. And you have also done so again now with Plateau United. But there are fears that you might not even be on the bench come the CAF Champions League. Has that been sorted out? Because we hear CAF say coaches who don't have a license will not be on the bench. Has that been sorted out?
Yes, I believe that is not going to be a problem because I have colleagues, more especially in the NFF, that can come and sit on the bench and work with the team. And the issue is just to have somebody with the certificate. But training the team, moving with the team, I will still be in charge. So I believe we have senior colleagues in the NFF that can come and sit down on the bench with their A license. And if they have any contribution, they are already our senior colleagues. They can even contribute. And we work together to make sure that we make Nigeria proud.
Safe to say that you will prepare the team, train with them, but on match day, you will not be anywhere near the bench.
No, it's not the issue. The issue is you can be on the bench, but you cannot lead the team.
Okay, as the head coach.
Yes, okay. That's all. You can be on the bench. Even a coach with C license can be on the bench.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Coach Abdul Mekaba. We wish you and your team the very best as you prepare for the CAF Champions League as well as the NPFL season.
Thank you very much.
All right, well, you heard from the man. He is Coach Abdul Mekaba, and I think his tone of his voice, the sadness shows the emotions, just tells you everything that is going on with the team and how disappointed he is. Hi, Chief. Looking at what he said, or from what he said, are you expecting anything from these Nigerian teams? As not just Plateau United, but the Nigerian teams representing the country on the continent?
Well, amongst the 4 teams representing us in the continent, the only team I think that has what it takes to go beyond the group stage, depending on their parent, is Eyimba. But when you look at it, to have a general overview of it, you know that by the first round, second round, they might pair us with either a North African side or one of the Sudanese powerhouse. And you know, they've become our Achilles heels over time. This Sudanese team of El Merreikh and Al Hilal, they always have this psychological edge over Nigerian teams. I don't know why and how we got to this very low ebb or the lowest ebb where teams from Sudan are now becoming Achilles heels. It's no longer good news for Nigerian football like that. But the only team I think that can go beyond the group stage or get into the group stage in the Champions League is Eyimba, depending on who they are paired with en route to the group stage. Otherwise, the other Nigerian team in the Champions League, if they are lucky to get to the CAF Confederations Cup, okay. Then for Rivers United and Kano Pillars, at this point, I'm yet to be convinced that they have what it takes to even get to the group stages of the Confederations Cup. If we get to the group stages of the Confederation, it's a miracle, given the fact that we had an abridged league, a league that had no clear-cut champion, a league that lacks incentive, a league that lacks even the players itself to get us to where we are meant to be. So I'm not expecting much from the Nigerian teams this season. That's the sad and bitter truth.
Okay, well, I mean, the teams that will be participating in that draws, they are quite a number, but I'll just reading some of them. Raja Casablanca and Wydad Casablanca of Morocco will be hoping to...
Please. Oh, my God.
They are not in the preliminary round there.
Yeah.
They've been given a bye. These are the big teams.
They are the big teams. Oh, no, I don't want to hear that.
So, the likes of Plateau United, Eyimba, Oroya, Ashanti de Srigueur, Petro de Luanda of Angola. We have Al Merreikh and Al Hilal of Sudan, Al Nasser, Al Ahil Benghazi of Libya, then Simba, who a Tanzanian team.
Massive side in Tanzania, I tell you. Over the weekend, they were involved in the Dar es Salaam derby with Yanga, Simba Yanga. It was massive.
In Ivory Coast, we have Racing Club Abidjan, Goma of Kenya, FC Platinum of Zimbabwe, Costa do Sol, AS Otoho, the Vipers of Uganda, Ashanti Kotoko of Ghana, Stade Malien of Mali, APR of Rwanda, Young Buffaloes of Eswatini. We have Makel Endeta of Ethiopia, ASKO Kara, Buffals de Bugu, Rahimo FC of Burkina Faso, FC Nouadhibou of, that should be Mauritania, yes, Mauritania, and then El Messager Ngozi of Burundi. That's actually Ngozi of Burundi. So many teams. Priye, which ones would you be? You were talking about which ones the teams you would not want the Nigerian teams to even be drawn up against. Which would that be exactly? You said North Africans and South Africans.
When you look at this team, typically it's actually very tiny rope we're actually working on right now, because some of these teams, like you made mention, teams from Burundi, teams from Botswana, you're not seeing them on TV regularly. You don't know how they play. You don't know how they approach games. And it's quite difficult for you to scout teams like this, especially some obscured leagues in Africa that their games are not on TV, like similarly to what is happening in Nigeria. So that means it's difficult for you to scout teams. That means you learn how the team play with the very first game, and you don't know how it will end at the end of the day. Maybe you're playing in their home and you're trashed like 4-5-0, and you're expected to come back of that defeat. It's quite difficult, I must say. It's even preferable you play in the Rasa Casablanca of Morocco, that you can actually see their tapes. You can go online, Google them, you get some videos about them. The manager can actually work with them. The technical crew can go out there, source for materials, and study the way the teams play, than playing some of these very teams that, oh my goodness, that you have not seen their games before on TV. Some of that, in the past, you hear some Nigerian league managers who say, this is the very first time I'm seeing these players. I'm seeing the players. I don't know how they play. I don't know how they play. And that is a big issue for me. I think Africa, we need to grow beyond Nigeria. I think Africa, we need to put all our games on TV, on the internet, so we can actually do basic research, which is going online, getting videos, see the way they play. We're not talking about training sessions right now. We're talking about live games. Go out there, see the way they approach games, so we can actually understudy these teams.
But not to worry much, because the same situation you're facing here is also what your opponent is going to face. Your opponent knows little or nothing about you. You're a Plateau United. Your MPFL games were not shown on TV. How are they going to get to scout you? It's still the same thing. So you guys are almost at par. face your opponents clearly.
Okay. Well, the preliminary round will kick off on the 27th of November. The first leg will take 27th to 29th of November. The second leg, 4th to 6th of December. Then just before Christmas, we're going to be having the first round. So if the Nigerian teams make it past the preliminary round to the first round, they would then be playing from the 22nd to 23rd of December. That's the first leg. And the second leg will now be in January 2021, the 5th to the 6th of January 2021. Osas, do you think, not even, let's talk about them making it to the group stages, because the Nigerian teams are not yet in the group stages. They are going to be playing preliminary fixtures. Do you expect us to make it through, the 4 teams in the MPFL, to be making it through to the group stages of the CAF Champions League or the CAF Confederations Cup?
As a patriotic Nigerian, I would have said yes, but on pen and paper, as real as it is, I actually don't, apart, just like what High Chief here said, apart from Eyimba, I doubt if I'll be seeing any other MPFL side, either in the CAF Champions League or the Confederations Cup, making it beyond these preliminary rounds. It's now you heard from the man himself, the coach of Plateau United, saying that they are just 30% fit. Now, what do you expect from a team who has said it that they are 30% fit, coming up against a team like Wydad Casablanca, or a team like Zamalek that's also been in action for this period? Definitely, it's going to be difficult for you to. I'm not even saying this because they'll be meeting them in the preliminary round. You also have these other teams that have been preparing. And to me, I think right here in Nigeria, would I say the pandemic has actually hit sports the most when it has to do with Africa? I don't know. I really don't know. It's a pathetic thing for me to look into right now. But I just hope they'll be able to do their best, and their best will be able to put them somewhere.
For me, I think let's just paint the picture so our audience will actually understand more, our listeners should understand more. Nigeria's situation right now is like in the UEFA Champions League, Poland and Slovenia. Like they will play some couple of winners, champions of Slovenia and all. They will play fixtures. That's how bad we are right now when it comes to CAF Champions League and CAF Confederations Cup. We need to paint it the way it is. Like we'll play like, you know, when the likes of England, they already qualified for Champions League.
CAF score, you know, the likes of
it's so poor,
Raja and Wydad. Morocco, they have a CAF score of 190. So they wouldn't even be playing this preliminary round. Egypt have a CAF score of 167. Tunisia 140. DR Congo 83. Algeria 81. South Africa 68.5. Nigeria, we have a CAF score of 39.
I don't think Nigeria is even.
We are close to losing some of our slots, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
If we go this season and fail to make it to the group stages, by the next Champions League CAF Confederation Cup, you might not, you will only see one team in the in the CAF Champions League and one in the Confederation Cup. Of course, we experienced that some time ago. It's not something new to us. We have not been consistently performing well in the CAF interclub competitions. The best in recent times will be Eyimba going to the semi-finals of the CAF Confederation Cup in 2018. We have seen our teams go to the Champions League only to drop down to the Confederation Cup and being knocked out as well in the Confederation Cup. We can't even get to the group stages. So it is that bad. That cannot be said for the North African teams. The teams from Egypt, Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, they are consistently doing well. The South African teams are equally joining them. Mamelodi Sundowns specifically. Then you go to DR Congo. Mazembe will always be there. Sometimes you see AS Vita also joining them. So, but in Nigeria, we are not that consistent in these conditions. Eyimba will always qualify, but how far are they going there? This time around, it was Horoya who knocked them out. In the quarterfinals of the CAF Confederation Cup. Let's not forget that Eyimba started in the Champions League. You understand? Let's not forget that Eyimba started in the Champions League. Kano players played in the Champions League last season. They didn't cross the first hurdle. Knocked out by Ashanti Kotoko. What was the other team from Niger Tornadoes? Who played in the Confederation Cup. Knocked out from the first round as well of the Confederation Cup. So you look at how these teams have been performing all these years. Look at their rating, 39 for Nigeria. You have teams on 160, 140, 130, 80, 70. See how bad we have gone there. That you're talking about the club coefficient right there. And at the end of the day, we are so low. And that's why you don't see our teams giving that buy. Now, there are teams that did not even reach the semi-finals of the CAF Champions League, but they are drawn by.
Yeah.
They are drawn by because of their rating on the continent. They have been doing well in these inter-club competitions for some years now. Horoya did not make it to the final. They are drawn by. You have Wydad, you have Zamalek, Alali. No, they are all drawn by. The big boys have been drawn by. It makes things a little bit easier for you. You are not playing 2 matches. That's what it means. And you just play the first round. Once you win the first round over 2 legs, you are through to the group stages. But here now, we'll not labor from, you just pray for the luck of the draw. If you don't have a good draw, you're out from the preliminary round, and that is the end of it. All the players you have bought, all the preparation,
you
comes
use
to
them
nothing.
for, you use
that
them
was
for
what happened to Kano Pillars at that time. So we just have to pray for this, our Nigerian teams to have a fair draw. I'm seeing names there that maybe the likes of Eyimba, Plateau United would be very excited to play in the CAF Champions League. Rahimo FC of Burkina Faso.
We played them last.
We played them, yes. We are beating 5-0 in our back.
I said, Mecca, the one that even broke my heart was Rivers United when they were paired against Emery.
No, they beat Emery
3-0.
We were celebrating.
We were celebrating. Only for them to go to Sudan and came back with very wonderful schoolboy excuses that not tenable anywhere that they were defeated for
the gap is, they are way ahead of us. The North Africans are way ahead of us. The Nigerian coaches know it. You ask, what's his name? Abdul Mekaba, he will tell you that his team is nowhere ready. 30-40%. That's not the fitness level you're taking to the CAF Champions League. You ask Eguma, he will tell you that they don't have the facilities to even train very well, let alone going to the continent. All they can do is just bring some of those big name players on the domestic scene, put them together, hoping that somehow, they're able to get the same results or maybe fair draws to eventually make it to the next round and all that. It's not as if, they are that confident that they will go there and, excel. Because if you look at it realistically, we have not done well in club football on the continent for the past 10 years now. We are still basking on the glory days of Eyimba, 2003, 2004. He's way behind us. You understand? We cannot compete at that level any longer to even clear some of these players. At the end of the day, they are preparing for the continent already. So the money shouldn't really be the problem when it comes to.
That's my point.
For the 4 teams now that are playing on the continent.
You know one thing in government? They will tell you they have released XYZ amount. Another thing, approved.
I understand. I understand where you're coming from. Exactly.
Some of those things.
Some of these clubs go to borrow money to play matches with the hope of getting the monies back from the government after playing.
You know the mental torture.
We know some of these things. Yeah, exactly.
My point is most of these clubs, I'm talking about the CAF Champions League and Confederations and Cup and representative, they have spent a lot of money this season when it comes to getting players and all. Yeah. What stops them for preparation? Putting money aside for preparation. You're participating in the CAF Confederations Cup, CAF Champions League. A typical example,